Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SacktownSports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Well, we all knew it could happen. We all feared that perhaps the Kings would go out there in that elimination game and they just wouldn't bring any fire. We've seen it before. We had every reason to think and every reason to hope that it wouldn't be that way, but it was. It was funny last night before the game, sitting in the media room, and it was the fancy media dining area because it was, an NBA sanctioned event play-in, so it was in the bigger room. And G-Man was sitting next to me, and I just asked him, do you have any idea what to expect from this team? And he just shook his head. He said, no. He said, and that's the most frustrating thing. That was before the game, so that was kind of an inkling of what might happen. And then what was most discouraging to me is when the boos started, the way they stopped. And I think it was late second quarter. The booing started, but it stopped almost as if fans realized it's not going to do any good. It was just such a disheartening night. And today, of course, the big news that Monte's gone, Scott Perry in, so onward and upward. But felt for you, Drapes, because I know that wasn't an easy night for you last night.
No, it was a rough night, man. But honestly, Whitey, I'm used to it. It was a rough season. I remember sitting there in that Orlando game, us getting blasted by 30. I remember sitting there in the Wizards game, us losing that. And so last night was sort of par for the course, and that's why I was a little worried about that, because it's not about the opponent, and Doug has talked about it all season long. It's about them, and once again, they didn't show up. It wasn't, and give Dallas credit. They played well. They brought the fight, but
they did.
10 turnovers in that second quarter, getting outscored 44-19, not following the game plan or not having the correct game plan. I wasn't in the meeting, so I can't, but to allow Klay Thompson to do what he did in that second quarter, that was, and they did it time and time again. 3 times in a row, Klay Thompson hit similar 3-pointers. And I'm sitting there thinking, was it a defensive breakdown? Is this the game plan, how to guard Klay? And so, honestly, I'm glad it's over. Changes have been made, and I'm looking forward to the future, because this was a rough, DeMar DeRozan said it. He's been in the league 16 years. The most difficult, toughest season he's had to go through. It was difficult this year, man.
What in the world do you think was happening with Domas last night? I mean, Domas was, I don't remember ever seeing him play that way here. He had some rough games this year where he was hurt, but last night it looked like he could barely even hang on to the basketball for stretches.
I have no idea, man. I just think the weight of everything, the season, the magnitude of everything, and, once Dallas started punching them in the mouth, turned up the intensity, we cowered. We caved. Like, the moment got too big for us, especially in that second quarter. Yeah. And so, and it's not just Domas, pretty much everybody out there. I mean, I can't point to anybody and say you had a great game. You can look at DeMar's points, but DeMar shot the ball a lot of times out of necessity. I mean, I needed that in the first and second quarter, and so it was just a bad night, and it ends a bad season for Sacramento Kings basketball.
Yeah, the 18 turnovers, just, we always hear the coaches say this is unacceptable, but last night was unacceptable. That's, if there is a silver lining, and there may not be a silver lining. If there is, I think it's pretty clear that roster, that ain't it. I think we've seen enough now. You see them improve, take 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and then you get into the play-in, and all right, win this game, have a chance for the playoffs, and it's an elimination game at home, and the way they played, if nothing else, I think we know, Drapes, that roster, that you're not going to get anywhere with that.
When you talk, are you talking 1 through 15? Are you talking?
Yeah, I don't want to
the
start.
Core, or like, what are you talking about there? Because I was listening to the great Eddie Johnson on Sirius XM, and he made the case that it shouldn't be torn down. They desperately need a point guard. They need someone to facilitate and make life easier for Zach, DeMar, and Domas. And so Eddie Johnson, former Sacramento King, he was just in town this past week. Here Sunday when the Phoenix Suns were here, he says that the talent is there. It just needs somebody to bring it all together. So when you say that roster, are you talking 1 through 15? Are you talking Zach, DeMar, Domas? Like, what do you mean?
Mostly I'm talking about the core, and I'm not saying tear it down. You can make a strong case for that. I just don't think they have any interest in that. I mean, I think we're wasting our time if we go, well, you should tear it down to the studs and tank, because they're just not going to do that. So I'm not advocating that. Again, maybe they could make that case. I think it's a waste of time to talk about that. But yes, currently constituted that core is just, it doesn't work.
What's the core, Whitey? Give me some names, big fella. What's the core?
We know what the core is. We're talking primarily about Domas, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. We'll put Malik in there as well. It doesn't work.
Top 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And so the question is, what do you do going forward? Like, that's like when you say that doesn't work, are we saying trade DeMar? Is it get rid of 2 people? Is it add a point guard for one of them? Like, what kind of tweaks are we looking at?
I think DeMar was never a good fit here. And I know we all, talked ourselves into saying, yeah, it could work. And at times it did work, but I don't see how he fits. It's so many times this year, they were at cross purposes. When DeMar was playing well, it seemed to hold back the rest of the team. Not his fault per se. Last night, an example. He played well, as you pointed out. But there were times in the second half when you were so far behind, you're probably going to lose anyway when you're that far behind. But you have to speed the game up. That's your only chance. It's not a great chance, but it's your only chance to get back in it. And with DeMar, you can't really do that. So I don't think he's a good fit. As far as you need a point guard, that's easy to say here the day after the season ends. But as you know, Trapes, we all know, well, who are we talking about, right? I know Domas today said, we need a point guard. Okay, but it comes down to who are we talking about, who's available, what do we have to give up to get him?
Well, I mean, you had a litany of point guards on this roster over the last few years. Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox. Hell, I even take Davion Mitchell right now, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yes, somebody that doesn't need to score the basketball to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our problem is. We have too many guys that need to score the ball, and I'm talking about Zach and DeMar, for them to be effective. What else are they bringing to the table? There are finishers. Zach's not an initiator. DeMar is not an initiator. And so I think we need somebody, if we're just throwing out names, we said Davion. I'd take the young fella Tyus Jones out there in Phoenix, because the way they used him this year, was give the ball to Durant or Booker and get out the way.
Mm-hmm.
We need somebody strong enough to be like, nope, DeMar, I'm not giving it to you right there. Nope, Zach, that's not the best spot for us as a team. Where do you get that? You got to make some moves. You got to make some sort of moves. Is that with Zach? Is that with DeMar? Is that with Domas? Is it with Keegan? I don't know. But to your point, they need to improve this team. This whole tear it down to the studs, and I thought about it yesterday, and maybe I was reacting emotionally. I was almost ready to be like, let's bottom out. Let's bottom out. Let's tear it down to the studs.
But they won't.
They won't, and I don't even know. That doesn't work, Whitey. We've proven it really doesn't work. When you look at the teams that have won, what you need to do is make a deal. People say OKC. Well, OKC had a Paul George to trade to get an SGA. Do we have that kind of commodity, that kind of asset?
No, I don't think so. And as far as the point guard conversation goes, I know we're going to be talking about that a lot in the offseason. And I respect the heck out of Eddie Johnson and you. And I just know that it's usually more involved than that. We're going to hear from fans. I know, they need a point guard. Yeah, that would help. But it's so much more involved than that. For example, you mentioned Tyus Jones. All offseason, the Suns. What's wrong with the Suns? They need a point guard. They just need a point guard. They got Tyus Jones. You and I both said, that's a great move.
Yeah.
He might have helped, but look where they ended up. So it's just a lot more to it than that.
It's more, but here's the thing. And there's a lot more to just this roster doesn't work. How about I say this? The coaching staff as a whole didn't work.
You didn't have all the
exactly.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That didn't work. The players in and out, and I'm not making excuses. It was more than just we don't have the talent. There were a number of factors, and I'll go back to the coaching staff. That's not Doug's guys. Guys may be on different pages. You lose Luke Glauc, supposedly your defensive coordinator. Like, I feel like everything that could go wrong, there was an issue at The ownership, the management, the players, the coaches. It wasn't just this roster's not good enough.
Yeah, more on what went wrong this year and where the Kings are going from here. Coming up, by the way, you want to weigh in today, we're here for you. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Breaking: the Sacramento Kings and Scott Perry are finalizing a deal for him to become the next GM of the Kings. Keep it here for up-to-date breaking Sacramento Kings news. Sacktown Sports 1140.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-750-2525. That's 800-750-2525. Again, that's 800-750-2525.
That just explains the year for us. That explains it well for us. But it's the business we in. You got to live the next day and the next day and the next day after that, and try to be better. And I feel like that's what we're going to do.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Malik Monk and his is that technically the exit interviews? Because you have your exit interviews and then you meet the media. So the exit interviews is with your
exit press conferences.
Yeah. Post-exit interview press conference. Yeah. Malik Monk. I'll tell you what, Jay. Drapes is really feeling this loss and the weight of this season. Because, and this is fine, but I just asked him about a Drapes takes. And he said, I'm not really feeling it. So maybe at some point he'll give us one. But you can imagine how down he has to be.
I thought he wakes up with one.
I do, man, but I'm not 100%.
But you keeping it in the cabinet today?
Nah, I feel like if I force it,
okay,
it's not. Yeah, I don't want to just. I mean, the take is, I'm down. I'm hurt. Jay, roll the damn music. Roll the damn music, man. You guys got me upset now. You got me upset. Jay's like, oh darn, I got to scramble for it. I need my music, Jay.
Calm down, like
I wasn't ready.
Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
In the immortal words of Winona Evans, that was Florida Evans, excuse me. Damn. Sacramento Kings, man, I don't believe we're sitting here today. The GM is gone. We got a new GM. Players are going to be gone. Think about it like this, Kings fans. 2 years ago, we were celebrating 48 wins. And our executive of the year, our coach of the year, and clutch player of the year, all gone. What we've seen the last two seasons is almost sort of like the fall of the Pac-12, where we need a 30 for 30 to look at every misstep that has happened for the Sacramento Kings the last 2 years. And I'll start back after they won 48 games and lost in game 7. You re-sign HB. You bring everybody back. You don't make any major additions. And the additions you do make, you missed out on them. The Sasha Vezenkovs, the Chris Duarte. You miss out on that. And so I know we're going to talk about Vivek and his meddling and everything like that. But like I said last segment, there's enough blame to go around to everybody. Monte, Wes, and those guys, they missed on draft picks. They missed on free agent signings. We got to call it what it is. I'm pretty sure Vivek didn't say, hey, we need you to go out there and bring Sasha Vezenkov here. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. I'm pretty sure Vivek didn't say, we need you to go out there and bring Chris Duarte here. And so we got to acknowledge that misstep right there from the front office. When it comes to Coach Mike Brown, Sam Amick and them reported that Monte didn't want to get rid of Mike Brown. And I understand that. That's his hire.
Right.
That's his guy. I will say this. The season at the time was spiraling out of control, and we now know there were some in the locker room who did not want to play for Mike Brown. So I don't fault the organization for making that move. I really don't. But what the organization was caught between a rock and a hard place, and here's why, Whitey. On one hand, you got a group of players that don't want to play for Mike Brown. On the other hand, you got a star player. The only coach he's going to play for is Mike Brown. What do you do? What do you do in that situation? And so I feel like the players put Monte and Vivek and the organization in a bad predicament this season. That was a no-win situation. Let's call it. The only thing that could have solved that and cured that was winning. And remember, the Kings had just lost 5 straight in embarrassing fashion at home. And so I'm going through the timeline, Whitey, to say everybody bears responsibility for where we are right now as the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox. What you saw from De'Aaron Fox this year, Kings fans, was a culmination of 7 years of distrust, 7 years of feeling let down by the organization. And so I don't blame him for feeling the way he did. He gave 7+ years, almost 8 seasons. But it goes back to mismanagement from Monte, mismanagement from Wes, mismanagement from Vivek, organizational. And I said this on the post-game show yesterday, Whitey. This was a breakdown from top to bottom. There's no way in hell we should be sitting and standing where we are right now, less than 2 years after the future was bright 2 years ago.
Yeah, the standings right here.
So this is what I'm talking about, Whitey. This is like the fall of the Pac-12. Almost criminal what happened to our organization, the Sacramento Kings, the last 2 years. And let me say this, because I always give the players some grace. But what we saw last night was pathetic. Mm-hmm. That can't happen. Shots ain't going to fall. You know, you might not get the rebounds. But you let Dallas come in and punk you? Right.
It was truly embarrassing.
You let Klay Thompson? Where was the compete level, fellas? The kids all say nowadays, lock in. We never locked in last night. You know, we got down early, took a lead into the second quarter. I'm like, all right, we're feeling, but that lead evaporated quickly at the start of the second quarter.
Yes.
And I can't tell you, and I started off the show saying this, I don't know if it was a coaching thing or an execution thing. I watched the Mavericks and Klay Thompson run the same damn play 3 straight times. Get a screen from Anthony Davis, who was being guarded by Domas, come out to the top, wide open 3. Either Domas got to hedge out a little better, switch or do something, or there needs to be a different defensive scheme. We did not make the adjustment to that play. Is that a coaching thing? Is that a basketball IQ thing? I don't know. But I go back to my point. It was everything that got us to this point. Ownership. Let's say Monte McNair didn't want to bring in DeMar DeRozan. Let's say he didn't want Zach LaVine. Instead, really wanted Castle or Vassell or something like that. If the ownership, if Vivek said, nope, I want Zach LaVine, That's not a way to run. That's Jerry Jones. That's like
absolutely.
Jerry Jones in Dallas.
Absolutely.
That's Jerry. And the Cowboys aren't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we got Scott Perry coming in, a respected basketball mind. Some people don't like him. Some people don't think he's good for the job. But I'm listening to the Pete Youngmans of the world, the Ian Begleys of the world, the Mark Spears of the world.
Pete Youngman would know he was here.
Right, he was here. He know where the bodies are buried too. He knows everything.
And he's not going to sugarcoat it.
Right, he's not going to sugarcoat. So it seems like now we're on the right track. But what we need is for ownership to let him do his job. Like, here's the thing, Whitey, you know how it is. The reason you hire certain people is because you believe they can do the job. So you got to let them do the job. Mm-hmm. We can't be meddling. You got to let them do the job. So my hope is going forward, this is a lesson learned. And people say, nah, Drapes, this how it's been the last 8, 9, 10 years in Sacramento. I hope this is rock bottom from an organizational standpoint. I hope now we get the right pieces. Let me say this, though. Because Monte may have had his legs cut out from underneath him. But he's not without blame, Whitey. I'm talking about the drafts. I'm talking about the free agent signings. I'm talking about the lack of accountability in the media. I'm talking about the lack of a press conference, the lack of having your star players back. Like, that's what I'm saying, Whitey. There needs to be a 30 for 30 where everybody comes clean and admits in the tones and says, in hindsight, I wish I would have did things differently. Because what we saw the last 2 years was exhibit A, B, C, and D of what not to do to become a winning franchise.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm upset. That's why I didn't want to do a Drapes tape. Because I know this is personal for me, ladies and gentlemen. This is my livelihood. When I walk in the Golden One Center and 17,000 people are there, they're like my family. And I talked to a season ticket holder before the game.
It's personal for the 17,000, as you know.
Exactly. And I talked to a season ticket holder right before the game. She's there every single game. And I said, you know what I love about you? I said, no matter what, no matter if we're winning 20 games, 40 games, we're embarrassed, whatever, you keep coming back. You keep coming back. And she said, yep, I've been doing it for 40 years. Mm-hmm. And so when what happens last night happens to our fan base, that hurts. It's like one of your kids or one of your family members getting treated wrong. Those fans deserve better than that.
Yes.
They deserve better than that. And they've been through thick and thin, hell and high water and everything. And they need some stability. They need some direction. Right now, what we have, Whitey, and I think the Scott Perry hire is key because when you look at every basketball organization, it's really not the owner that sets the tone because usually the owner steps back. It's the GM. It's the president of basketball operations. Look at Sam Presti out there in OKC. Look at Brad Stevens. I could go down the list. It's not necessarily the owner. It's the person in charge on the basketball side, the GM or the president of basketball operations. And I felt like where there was a void of leadership the last few years, a void of accountability the last couple of years. Hopefully Scott Perry makes himself available. Hopefully when he makes a trade or a draft or it doesn't go right, he atones for that and answers questions. You got to be a leader. And here's the thing. Last I'm going to say, and this has nothing to do with the game last night, Whitey. I ain't looking at no box score. This ain't about the box score, big fella. Mike Brown tried to be a leader. He came in here with a message, a voice, and he changed the culture of the franchise. The problem is the coach can't do it by himself. It starts at top. It starts with basketball ops. There needs to be synergy from top to bottom, and we just haven't had that. Jay, I'm done, man. I'm tired of talking, man. That's Drapes Takes. It's brought to you by
Alsco Uniforms. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. How the Kings fell so far, so fast. Next with the Drive Guys coming right up.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Bring the whole family to Sutter Health Park for Sacramento River Cats baseball. It's more than a game. It's an experience your kids will never forget. Enjoy exciting action on the field, delicious ballpark food, and fun activities for all ages. From meeting Dinger the mascot to running the bases every Sunday, there's something for everyone. Create lasting memories with your family this season. Get your tickets at rivercats.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Diamond Pacific Supply and Trex, Michelob Ultra, and Carl's Jr. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
The cards are lining up with Sky River Casino's $130,000 weekly Baccarat tournament. Every Thursday, now through June 26th, is your chance to share in $10,000 in prizes with a guaranteed weekly winner taking home $5,000 in prizes. Feeling lucky? Your first hand is on us. Visit skyriver.com for complete details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older.
Your old HVAC system could be costing you a fortune in energy bills and repair bills. Right now, Sierra Pacific is offering deep discounts, saving homeowners thousands of dollars. Savings that won't be available later this year. But you must act fast. We have to fill openings in our schedule next week. This limited time offer is only available if you book your installation for next week. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Sierra Pacific and lock in your savings today.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Listen for the Toyota Tahoe Report every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Johnny Mosley to get the latest weather conditions in Tahoe throughout this snow season. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
At Big O Tires, now through April 27th, get $50 to $100 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Cooper, Bridgestone, Firestone, Pirelli, or Hankook brand tires with installation purchase. Disposal fees extra, not good with other offers. See your locally owned Big O Tire store for pricing.
I think you just need to find some consistency. Players, coaches, a firm direction of what we want to go into, and guys that want to really go out there and get it. I think that's the only way that you can do that.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Zach LaVine meeting the media for the last time this season. I may be reading too much into this, but I know our buddy Chris Watkins posted this. Zach LaVine at one point today said, "Why wouldn't I want to stay in a great place like this?" And I've noticed sometimes people, when you answer a question with a question, sometimes there's something you don't want to say. You want to stay? Shoot. Why wouldn't I want to stay? I hope I'm wrong. Thanks for being with us today. Also, thanks to everybody who came out yesterday. Like Lawrence Dubois said, thank you for the rally towel. He said he used it to cry in last night. So just too bad that it came to such a crushing end so soon. Not just the game and the season, but the era. This era, Beam Team era. basically it's done. And how you know, and like a lot of Kings fans, I've been trying to figure out how they fall so fast. Here's one of the factors, I think, Drapes. And there's a lesson here I think the Kings need to learn now. You go back to that 22-23 season. Kings won, as you pointed out, 48 wins. That was third. That was good for third that year because you had Denver 53, then Memphis. Phoenix was at 45. The Clippers were 44-38 with Westbrook. They were kind of finding their way. The Warriors, even though they had won the year before, they were starting to they were declining a little bit. The Lakers had a bad year. Minnesota was 42-40, but you know what they were about to do. Pelicans were 42-40. They were about to surge. OKC was 40-42, and they were just about to make their run. Dallas 38-44. You also had Houston in there at 14th, 22-60. So look how much things have changed since then.
Yeah.
My point is the Kings took advantage of some very favorable situations that year, to their credit. But there were a number of teams behind them then that were gearing up, like Minnesota and OKC and Houston, even New Orleans to a degree. And you've got a similar situation brewing now. So you can't just look at your improvement in a vacuum like, well, how good are we now? Let's get better.
Right.
If we're better, we're in great shape. It depends also what's going on around you. And there are teams behind you right now, namely, I think Portland, maybe Utah, San Antonio. There's teams behind you that are getting ready to make their pushes, Drapes.
That's the thing. When I look at some of these teams that we're talking about, their stars came from the draft, but you also have to get lucky. Like OKC, they got lucky. Like that SGA trade, like we knew it was a heist, but somebody valued Paul George so much that they wanted to get rid of, that they were willing to get rid of a budding star, a guy, and multiple picks. So who's our asset? Do we have that? Does somebody love any of our players that much? Because I'm thinking about how do we retool on the fly, because we're cash strapped. We don't have we can't go out there and sign a free agent, Whitey. We're probably not going to have our draft pick this year. So to improve the team, as they always say, right? Development.
Yeah.
But I'm throwing that out right now. I'm throwing.
Can you name the four?
I can name the four.
Yeah.
Draft.
Yes.
Free agency.
Yes.
Trade.
Yes.
Development.
Boom.
From within. That's the four pillars of improving your team. But we already know free agency and draft probably we aren't going to be able to do. We know there's some holes in the roster. Domas talked about it earlier. So how do you improve the team without gutting it? Because I don't think they'll gut it. Are there some moves you can make? And that's going to be Scott Perry's charge, I think, going forward. I also wonder, and I know we got some future draft picks. If you're Scott Perry, are you trying to replenish your draft picks? So you have, like, I think OKC got like 3 first-rounders this year, something crazy, a potential, we got to be in that position. You can still be good. Boston did the same thing, Whitey. They were still competitive, still good, and they had multiple picks still. Is there a way that we can do both, or does it have to be one or the other?
Isn't that hard to do, to really stuck up on draft picks without tearing things down? Because then you got to take everything you have that's worth something and move it off or whatever you can get in the future.
but then that's tank. That's bottoming out.
Yes, it is.
And so basically what you need is you need to fleece somebody. I mean, because OKC,
or get lucky.
Or get lucky. OKC fleeced Clippers. Boston fleeced Brooklyn.
The fleecee to become the fleecer.
Right.
Because the Kings have too often been the fleecee.
New GM coming in, though.
Okay.
New guy running the show. But that's the quickest way, I think, to getting what we want. If we stick with what we have, we'll probably be another 40-win team. Go exit the same way. If we bottom out, we got 2 to 3 years of Detroit Pistons at 15 wins, 20 wins. Yes. And so
you think people are mad now. If that happened, a lot of people just wouldn't say, I don't care about the Kings. I'm just out. If you did that for 3 or 4 years, it'd be a lot of people like, I don't care.
That's tough, man. So, which brings me real quick to this, and I don't know if you had this in the rundown. Matt Ishbia, owner of the Phoenix Suns. Stephen A. Smith said he's on the verge of becoming the worst owner in professional sports. Matt Ishbia went on a rant today and said, well, I've invested hundreds of millions in the community. I've upgraded the facilities. I've made all of our basketball games accessible to fans on TV, local broadcasts. I looked at the concession prices and realized it was too high. I lowered that. And he says, as an owner, my job is to, yes, put a winning product on it, but there's so much more. And so I wonder if Vivek views it as, we got this fabulous arena. We have revitalized downtown. Like, I can't lose that. I can't lose the energy in that corridor right now. As an owner, as a businessman, as a Sacramentan, I need to make sure this is still vibrant. Because
you can't tear it down.
You can't tear it down from a financial aspect.
Right.
It's more than just wins and losses. It impacts the economy of the community, Whitey. And so I don't know if Vivek can stomach that and would be willing to do that.
As hard as it is to tear it down and then build it back up to where you're a contender, it's not easy. A lot of teams do it, but it's not easy. As hard as that is, it's harder to do, not impossible, but harder to do it the way the Kings are doing it, which is kind of thread the needle, stay relevant in the now, at the same time improving.
You got to get lucky. You got to get lucky.
Yes.
You know, you got to get lucky. And, you know, I look at the Miami Heat because that's probably a comparable thing. They've sort of stayed relevant, but they haven't been a number one seed or, you know, they've overachieved, you could argue. But they haven't tanked either. They haven't bottomed out. They've been building on the fly also. Would we accept that here in Sacramento?
Well, I think you're getting the answer now. You know, if you have more years like this, people find it unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's just you have to have
you got to hit on some good years. Yeah. That's the thing about the Heat. They're in the play, and it seems like every year. But sometimes they're in the play and actually go on a long run.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Dave on Sacktown Sports. Hey, Dave, what's up? Thanks for hanging.
What's up, Whitey?
Hey.
KD, what's up?
What's up, Dave? What's up, man? What you got?
Man, I'm pissed off right now. 13-year season ticket holder. I'm done. I seen the writing on the wall about 3 weeks ago when we brought, or a little longer than that, when we brought in, what's his name?
Zach LaVine?
Zach LaVine. And when everything stopped moving, when the ball stopped going through Domas, it became isolation. DeMar became more isolation, and everything's changed. And then hearing today all the vaccine information from Sam Amick this morning, saying that Monte wasn't on board with Zach's trade. And you got to understand when Vivek he's not an owner that's going to let his GM do the work. He's like these typical, owners from, Al Davis, Jerry Jones, Dan Snyder. You look at all those teams, not one of those teams had success as owners. And then if you look at the teams that these guys from, the late great Jerry Buss or the owner from the Miami Heat, he lets all his guys do everything. He lets his GM do everything, run everything. And Vivek is too much of a emotional man. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. And he'll never allow his GM do the work. He's too much of a micromanager, and he reminds me of that restaurant investor that brings all the groceries to the kitchen and wants to get in and don't know how to cook.
Got you, Dave. Thank you. Yeah, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Phone lines are filling up now, but that's what we're here for you today. So what do you make of this? Maybe this is the beginning of something Better, maybe, but today it just hurts. Drive, guys. Sacktown Sports.
Breaking: the Sacramento Kings and Scott Perry have finalized a deal for him to become the next GM of the Kings. Keep it here for up-to-date breaking Sacramento Kings news. Sacktown Sports 1140.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. For the A's, pitcher Michel Otanez has resumed throwing from a distance up to 90 feet and could return sometime in mid-April. Brady Basso, out with that left shoulder strain, has been transferred from the 15-day injured list to the 60-day injured list. On the court, Malik Monk has been diagnosed with a left calf strain and will be reevaluated in 14 days, which means he'll miss the rest of the season and the play-in. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group.
Hi, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Skeeter here, Field Tech, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District. Hey, it's my favorite week of the year, Mosquito Awareness Week. Yep, the spring and warm weather means the little suckers are starting to breed and bite. Gotcha. So it's time to fight the bite. Once a week, drain standing water from flower pots, bird baths, dog dishes, and at dawn and dusk, start using insect repellent outside and wear long clothes, because these skeeters are out for blood.
The Sacramento Yolo Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you it's time to fight the bite. For more information, go to fightthebite.net.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Since the launch of the World Handicap System, a golfer's handicap index has been automatically calculated by taking their 8 best score differentials from their most recent 20 rounds. According to Golf Monthly Newsletter, that handicap is not designed to reflect average scores, but how likely you'll play on a course of average difficulty. Handicaps are generally split into 3 different groups: low, mid, and high. A recent report by the USGA showed that the average handicap index for a male is 14.2 and 28.7 for a female. A golfer with a handicap of 1 to 9 is considered to have a low handicap. A handicap of 10 to 19 is generally thought to be a mid-handicapper, and a higher handicap golfer is 20 and above. Nearly 50% of males are mid-handicappers, with 30% carrying low handicaps, and under 20% of female golfers are in the low and mid-handicap groups. Carry your handicap proudly and play on. It's supposed to be fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Godzilla bankroll, stole some silly on, yo, I ain't got it all.
I would say just, like this year there was a new coach, knew everything. Changes happen throughout the year, so it's obviously tough to try and fix things together. But if we can organize everything throughout the summer, so going into training camp and season, everybody has a role and a position and a job and knows what to do, that would be very helpful.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
That sounds like a guy who's going to seek some clarity this offseason. Everyone knew we were doing that would be very helpful. We all need some clarity.
We all want that,
what
right?
the hell happened last night to you, right? Or don't we need some clarity on that?
Yeah. 5 turnovers in that game. He was a non-factor in a positive way. He didn't contribute. Anthony Davis and Gafford and Lively, they dominated.
Yes. He played like his dad. If his dad was playing
now.
that's
messed up.
But it was just so, it's like, wow, something's wrong. Is he okay? Because he just was so out of sorts. Guys miss shots, but he would, throwing the ball around and
couldn't
throwing
catch the
passes
ball
and chasing the pass and falling down out of bounds. That was unsightly.
Yeah.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. By the way, real quick here in the chat. Mark says, can Mike Rowe fix the Kings? Yeah, maybe there's a crack in the foundation there. I don't know. Let's see what Anthony has to say. Anthony joining us on Sacktown Sports. Hello, Anthony. What's up?
What up, Whitey? What up, Drape?
What's up, man? What's going on?
None, man. So, man, you guys are talking about, getting a player on this offseason, or players on this offseason. What if that player, or at least one of the players that we need, is a dog that's right in our backyard right now in Mason Jones?
Thank you for the call.
I mean, when you think about what all his teammates said about him and how he's motivated them, pushed them. I mean, they were calling him Dicka, and I've actually had the privilege to have a actually good conversation with him one time. I was Uber driving him. And this guy just has that, man. And that's his first year when he had the blonde hair. And, man, if you don't see his body of work, what he's done to his body and just who he is, I'm not saying that he is the guy, but I think there's a good possibility. Because last night, man, I think we could have put our G League team in there and they would have beat the hell out of the Mavs last night.
Thank you, Anthony.
I'll just say real quick,
we can't look at G League teams like you do a minor league baseball team where, we've got all these prospects. Mason Jones had a great year in the G League. Mason Jones hasn't proven that he's an NBA caliber player yet. I know he's played a little bit, but I mean a guy rotational. He just hasn't proven that yet.
Right.
So I know where Anthony's coming from, especially if you met the guy. And he's still in the process of proving that he can be a rotational player. He's just not good enough to do what Anthony's saying.
Right. It's 2 different leagues.
Yeah. Nothing against him.
Yeah.
Do we know that?
Well, the people that are charged with figuring that out seem to know it. That's the thing.
Yeah, but we've been shown and proven that they're wrong. I think what Anthony is saying, and I mean, he's grabbing after straws, and Mason might be one of his guys. I'll say this: I don't know what Mason is because we haven't seen him much, but I do understand what you're saying in the form of the guys who are hired are the guys that's saying Mason Jones isn't ready yet.
Right.
Right.
And it's easy as a
and
fan
whose
to
spot
say,
is he taking?
those guys are good. Get those guys. People were joking yesterday. Oh, they should bring the whole G League team up.
Right.
They'd be better than those guys.
Right. Whose spot he taking?
I don't know, Drapes. He might be taking a bunch of people's spot. We don't know who's going to be on this roster.
I'm saying this past season. What, he playing more than Zach?
Oh, okay.
Playing more than Keon Ellis? More than Devin Carter? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. I hate to say that because it's not like we're taking shots at him.
No, it's just, it's not ready yet.
Let's see what Will has to say on Sacktown Sports. Hello, Will. Help us make sense of it.
Come on, Jay. Now, you know I'm your boy, man. Come on now. Hey, Dre, don't be quiet back there. Look, this is my last call.
What do you mean your last call?
He only calls during basketball.
No, this is my last call, for I might call when LeBron and when the Lakers get to the finals. But anyway, Dre, y'all know what the problem is. We say this every year. Look, Dallas was laughing at the Kings because everybody was dunking on the Kings' head. I mean, if we don't get size and athleticism, look, Lively don't have to score a point. Okay, Gafford don't have to score a point. But what they do, they intimidate in the low block, and they DeMontis can't handle athletic big guys. We have none. And that's the problem. We don't have athletic bigs. And if we don't get some athletic bigs, we're not going to ever improve. And then my boy Doug didn't make no adjustments when he saw Clay was killing Keon. I mean, he should have tried to make a change, try to do something, but little Devin can't guard no 6'7", 6'8" guy. It was just sad, man. I mean, to see him go out like that, I hated it, but we got to get athletic big men in the post. And then, I mean, Domas got dunked on about 10 times. He had about 5 turnovers. He was just frustrated all night. You agree?
Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Will 100%.
I mean, and Dretch, you know that you don't want to say it on the air, but you know that. Look, man, they was throwing 7-footers at us all night long, man.
Yeah.
Jefford, Lively. I mean, and then you got Murray trying to guard Anthony Davis out on the 3-point line, and he was always out of place. I mean, my man was just taking his time shooting threes. Wasn't nobody going out there on him. The whole thing, man, it was just embarrassing. It was just embarrassing. And I love the Kings, but if they don't get athletic in the post, they're not going to do any better next year. And then everybody talking about get rid of the Debo, who going to score if they get rid of Debo? I mean, it's ridiculous. All right, fellas.
All right, Will.
Thanks, Will. Hope to hear from you again soon. I think it's a really valid point. Athleticism in the front court and lane.
Oh man, that was the difference last night.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it wasn't even only about their 7-footers, Whitey. I thought P.J. Washington gave us problems.
Mm-hmm.
Najee Marshall, Dante Exum, like they got linked all around.
And they knew it.
Yeah.
You could see the way they played. They knew they had a huge edge.
Yeah. So we do have to get more size and length, interior and on the perimeter too. And I used to say, those guys aren't walking around. Actually, they are. There's tons of guys like you look at a team like we saw last night, Dallas. New Orleans got 4 or 5 of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Portland got 4 or 5 of those guys. And so if you're Scott Perry, and I wish Monte would have, we talked about it last year when Dallas got Daniel Gafford. We said, why can't we get that? They gave up what? Yes. Rashawn Holmes in a 2nd-round pick for Daniel Gafford? I think. What?
Yep.
Gafford would have been perfect for us.
P.J. Washington.
Would they give up for P.J. a couple seconds or something?
No, it was a first.
It was a first. Yeah, for P.J. it was a first. It was a first.
And my guy from Boston, Grant Williams.
Grant Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Grant Williams. So you had to give up a little bit for that. But Gafford, somebody that plays big around the basket, an intimidator, can block shots, high energy guy, rim runner. We ain't got no lob threats on our team. Who we throwing the lob to?
Malik and Zach.
That's it. Dog, in today's NBA, and we've mentioned it, we've talked, where's the vertical spacing at?
Yeah.
When you come off those screens, I ain't seen Domas catch a lob in 4 seasons since he's been here.
Why can't Domas one time, dribble handoff, fake the dribble handoff and keep it and
keep going? I haven't seen that.
One time.
You're killing me, Whitey. You're killing me.
Draymond Green, every so often, Draymond mixes that in.
And then he goes. Yeah.
All right, when we come back, Brian Windhorst.
Why y'all doing this, man?
From ESPN had some critical things to say about the Kings today. We'll hear what he had to say next on Sacktown Sports.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the GPS directions first before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sacramento, get ready. The Sacktown Sports Live events calendar is packed with epic shows you won't want to miss. Classic rock bands, America takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento on May 9th. Then hip-hop legend LL Cool J brings the beats to Thunder Valley on May 10th. The Outlaw Music Festival rolls into Toyota Amphitheater on May 18th. And punk pioneers The Dam hit Ace of Spades on May 31st. June heats up with JJ Gray and Mofro at Ace of Spades on June 10th. Plus, country superstars Lee Brice and Walker Hayes at Ironstone Amphitheater on June 21st. Then, it's 3 days of country fun at the Country Summer Music Festival at Sonoma County Fairgrounds on June 27th through the 29th. Get your boots ready for the Folsom Pro Rodeo July 3rd through 5th. Then, catch Cody Johnson at Golden One Center on July 18th and Parker McCollum at Ironstone Amphitheater on August 16th. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and don't miss out. Find all the details at sacktownsports.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, a little historical perspective on Jacob Wilson's 15-game hitting streak to begin the season, which ended on the 13th against the Mets. In the expansion era, the only longer streak by an Athletic to start a season, Stan Javier hit in 17 straight in 1994. The Athletics record, Hank Majeski, 19 straight in 49.
Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business with reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solution, and Wi-Fi backup. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. For details on special offers, including free professional installation and up to a $500 Visa prepaid card on qualifying internet bundles, log on to business.comcast.com. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
live and local. It's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Just see this on ESPN. Kings close to hiring Scott Perry as GM. I thought that was a done deal. According to ESPN, they're finalizing the agreement. So, yeah, that's not a done deal if they're still finalizing things. But looks like that's going to happen. One thing I remember about Scott Perry is when he was here before, and he was here for 3 months, Drapes.
Mm-hmm.
That was before you were here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was before me.
I remember stories in the B about how he, even in those just the 3 months he was here, he brought some credibility with him. That's obviously something this franchise could use. That is, in terms of NBA circles, people knew him, respected him. So maybe he brings some of that. He was here briefly. I know some people are wondering, well, why didn't they keep him? If he was here before and he's so good, why didn't they keep him? Because he left. He got a chance to get the Knicks.
Got an offer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a sweet offer to go to New York.
As far as Monte goes, and you could see the writing on the wall. I've been saying for a while that I hope they kept him. Didn't think they would. Hope they would. Didn't even know if he wanted to stay. Mutual parting, according to reports. Monte did a good job, in my opinion, because the team ended up in a better place than it was when he got there. And then also, as we found out today from what Sam Amick said on Carmichael Dave and the Jason Ross and Christopher Lodge show, there are some things Monte had to do that he didn't want to do, which I think we knew. Sam confirmed that, but I don't think that was like a news flash or anything. So, it's a tough job sometimes. And sometimes you look at the GM, and as you said, Drapes, he wasn't perfect. There's things he did where you can go, wow, I bet he'd like to have that back. But sometimes we look at a decision the GM makes and say, what is he doing? And sometimes well, he didn't really want to do that.
Well, some believe Nico Harrison is the fall guy in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
His career might be ruined because of that. I will say this, and I need to know which decisions. Did he really not want DeMar DeRozan?
That's what was written today. And I think it was couched a little bit. I have to go back, but I think it was couched like there are some who say that, something like that, but it basically was, yes, people believe he didn't want DeMar DeRozan, didn't want Zach LaVine, and didn't want to fire Mike Brown.
Sam and Slates, they do a fantastic job. But to me, this sounds like after the fact, somebody from Monte's camp leaking this out there.
But I don't think they would just fall for something like that. They wouldn't go, okay, I'll write that.
Right.
I know them both, and they're good reporters. So I'm sure they hear a lot of things that they have to verify. I'm sure they don't just, all right, there are guys that do that. Some TV guys, I think, there's like, I don't care if it's true or not, but Sam and Slates,
they probably got multiple sources
they don't roll
and everything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All
That's it. I wasn't in the meetings. I don't know, but they're two.
Because it sounded like
reporters.
every move that was made over the last year, Monte didn't want to do. That's why I'm a little skeptical, not of their reporting, because I'm sure somebody said that. But now it's like, oh, they didn't want to trade De'Aaron Fox. They didn't want to fire Mike Brown. They didn't want to get DeMar DeRozan. They didn't want Zach LaVine. Every move they made over the last year, they did not want to do.
Well, I think the foundation of all of that, the part that's really significant is it looks like he lost his authority. You can quibble about exactly what he did and didn't want to do, but it looks like he wasn't in there going, all right, we're doing this. I think it was like, no, we're not. Damn. So that's the way it looks right now.
He should have stepped down or something. He should have, I don't know, right? Like,
then you don't get your benefits.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that's true. If you quit, you don't get the contract paid out and everything like that. All right, yeah.
I'm not going to fire Mike Brown. Okay, bye. Right?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So the Kings have been again getting knocked around a little bit in national circles. Vincent Goodwill from Yahoo is going to join us in just a little bit. We'll see what he has to say about it. But this is Brian Windhorst today on ESPN going after the Kings.
What does all this change say to you, Brian, about the state of the franchise?
Because it's not a good organization. I mean, I wish Scott Perry the best. He's our former colleague, very strong executive. Domantas Sabonis gave his exit interview today. Yes. And they said, what do you need to do in the offseason? He said, we need to get a point guard. They just had a franchise point guard.
That Scott Perry was there in the lead up to drafting.
That they let the relationship go south on. I'm sure everybody's got their story, but the relationship went south. They had the executive of the year. The relationship went south. He knew he was getting fired because they already had Scott Perry hired. He knew for weeks he was getting fired. His assistant, Wes Wilcox, left weeks ago to take another job when he was a big part of their rebuild. How many coaches did they go through in Sacramento over the last 17 years? They finally found a coach who put them on the right path, and Mike Brown. They liked him so much, they gave him a contract extension last summer. And they fired him 2 months into the season. This is the definition of why they have been a bagged organization for decades. And maybe this new alignment will work. Maybe Doug Christie will work. Maybe they will get another point guard. Just look what they did. Like, I like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan as people. I like them as players. They can be successful. They were very clearly a poor pairing in Chicago. It did not work. Not for 5 minutes over the course of years. The Bulls moved on from both. The Kings brought them in. They had an alignment that worked, and they imported a pairing that didn't work and is very expensive. They had it in front office that was working. They disenfranchised them and drove them out of town. What are we doing here? Like, okay, maybe it will work going forward, but why would you have faith in it? Why would you have faith in the decision-making from the top? This is not an opinion. This is a reaction to the results that we can actually see.
Obviously, there's a lot there, holds a lot of water. I will say Brian Windhorst I believe he's really good friends with Mike Brown, but he made great points there. I saw something today from the great Nick Friedel. Nick Friedel on social media was saying, how could anybody who saw what happened in Chicago plan to have LaVine and DeRozan together in Sacramento? How could you do that? I think that speaks to why the Kings are where they are. I don't think that was the plan. They didn't plan that. They brought in DeMar DeRozan, then things went sideways with De'Aaron Fox, so then they end up bringing in Zach LaVine. At that point, it's like, well, now we can get LaVine. We like LaVine. Let's get him. That was never the plan. And so to end up doing something like that wasn't part of your plan, I think that speaks to the way sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing.
No, you're 100% right about that. That wasn't the plan. And this is why I think Monte may have been on board with the DeMar signing, because you get DeMar and then you're trading Fox, and then the owner says, we want Zach. And you're Monte, you're like, no, what the heck? No, we saw that already. And right. I believe, I 100% believe Monte, Zach LaVine wasn't his guy. I 100% believe
I think
that.
Monte was probably one of the people in the past few years saying, no,
right.
I want to do that.
What's interesting, and I'm just, thinking through this on the air, Monte is a heavy analytics guy.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar isn't in analytics, not today's. Mm-hmm. And so, as I'm thinking through this on live on air here, it's like, damn, maybe that wasn't his type of guy either. But here's the thing, though. What about the draft picks? Like, I don't know what Monte's kind of guy is in terms of building the roster, because we drafted so many guards.
Looks like he's 6'2", I could say.
Right, that's what
I think. I don't know.
I don't know.
Drapes, you know what it is, man. And I've been trying to sit here and just digest what you guys have been saying and everything. I think we've all been digesting over the last 12, 15, 18 hours or whatever the case may be. And I'll take a step back even further from the things that have happened. And this is something that, and I thought it's a proper time to jump in, because Windhorst is kind of touching it, which is a little bit of this. At some point in time, for any house, for any type of structure to stand up, the foundation has to be right? Mm-hmm. And we've talked about that numerous times. I'm going to take it a step further. With that being said, great leaders also step out and say, that was my fault. I messed that up. I'm not 100% of everything and know what I know what I'm doing, but I sure in the hell am trying. I'm trying to figure it out. And it goes to this point, and this is part of my issue with the Monte, Vivek, the relationship, the De'Aaron, everything else. When you really sit back and take a look at it, De'Aaron got crucified here in the city for talking. But the one thing De'Aaron did was just talk. He stepped out.
Mm-hmm.
He said something. Even if you didn't like it, he said what he felt. It could be misinterpreted. It could be wrong. It could be his own opinion. As I always say, it's three sides to every story. I still, and just what you said, Drapes, is I have no clue what Monte's about. To me, that's a problem. If you are the general manager, the head of the basketball operations of an organization, I need you to stand up and talk. Because guess what? It's shown that our ownership is not going to stand up and talk. So if nothing else, I'd rather you come out and say, I'm trying. And I'm not saying he wasn't. We all know he is. I know he wasn't trying to lose. But I think that's where the frustration lies. For me as a fan, I truly believe that's where frustration lies with certain Kings fans. And sometimes when I sit back here and I'm listening to you guys and you're talking it out, it'd be sure nice to have a map, a roadmap, a plan, something that we know is going on. And we consistently talk about that with the Sacramento Kings too many times. I've been on earth for 40 years, and for sure, they've been here as long as I've been here. And guess what? More times than not, they ain't got a plan. And I think that's what Windhorst is really talking about without, diving deep for a quick 2-minute situation. And I truly believe that is part of the downfall of what happened with Monte is. One of the two things going to have to happen here, fellas, for me, and I'll step out the way. You're either going to have a general manager who is strong enough to say, nah, Vivek, that's not going to work big time. I can't have that on my watch. And understand that you might lose your job, your money, your benefits, and everything else. And that's tough. Look at society. I'm the one to say that all the time. It's tough right now. Or you got to have a cat who can sell oil to a car. You need to have somebody that can sell sand to a beach, meaning you better be able to tell Vivek and maneuver and ruffle his feathers enough to be like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but maybe we should try to go this way.
He worked with Dolan. A lot of people are saying
same situation.
Uniquely qualified for this job.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. More on the national view of the Kings when Vincent Goodwill joins us. And that's coming right up with the Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Save $12,750 off MSRP. Every new 2025 Silverado 1500 LT and RST 5.3 in stock at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. After all rebates. And Maida Chevy still has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $12,750 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Trading 2011 or newer. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Diamond Pacific Supply and Trex, Michelob Ultra, and Carl's Jr. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
And now a brief history of the garage door. Garage doors could date back to 450 BC when chariots were stored in gatehouses. Here in the States, they became a thing around the start of the 20th century. You could find a float-over door in a catalog way back in 1906. National Garage Door has been around since 1974. They're family-owned and operated, so you can trust them to solve any garage door issues you may have. Squeaky door, malfunctioning door, or a need for a new door, which is what prompted us to give them a call, 916-638-4554. At National Garage Door Service is their number one priority. I've witnessed that commitment in my own home, certainly in our garage. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They are the nation's BSE broken spring experts. So if you have a garage door that looks and sounds like it dates back to 450 BC, National Garage Door can help, whether it's a garage door tune-up, repair, or replacement you need. They'll take care of you at National Garage Door. 916-638-4554. That's 916-638-4554. National Garage Door.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more
The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
We all knew it could happen. Of course, we all knew it could happen. And yet, it hurts today. The season is over. And it was a rough season. It's been a rough couple seasons, Drapes.
Dude, I'm ready to go on a 4-month vacation. I need a retreat after this one. Yeah, I need a holistic retreat after what we went through
the
this
Hobbit,
season.
You need to get in the cave.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, darkness retreat. Seriously, man.
Before you do that, maybe you'll hear something from our next guest that'll convince you to stay around a little longer. Senior NBA writer for Yahoo Sports. He's your guy, right?
My guy.
Yeah,
yes,
Vincent Goodwill. Vincent Goodwill, how are you today?
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Good. I got a new nickname for Vincent Goodwill though. Vincent Barack Obama Goodwill. And here's why.
Wow.
This dude don't return calls. He don't return texts.
Wow.
This dude is harder than Barack to get a hold of. I appreciate your time, young fella.
Did I not just answer your text? And did I not answer this phone call?
Yeah.
People. You see what I'm saying?
You're my guy, man. I do appreciate you, man. You're a busy man. I understand it, man. You're a busy guy.
Vincent, we got a lot of Kings fans today that are wondering about Scott Perry. I know he was here briefly years ago, but what, if anything, can you tell us about Scott Perry and the skills that he could bring to the GM position here?
I think when he was there for that short stretch, right?
Yeah.
That was the year you guys drafted De'Aaron Fox. And I know De'Aaron is gone now and how that went, but he got De'Aaron Fox to shut down his workouts because De'Aaron Fox wanted to get drafted by the Sacramento Kings because he wanted to get drafted by Scott Perry. Like, he's the guy who has the relationships and the basketball knowledge. It's not like, the gimmicky guys and everything else. Like, it's not like this old school sort of thinking per se, but it is someone that understands how to win. And I think he understands what that market needs. I think his mission is going to, hey, let me go in there and make this a better situation than what it is right now. And I think it's not devoid of talent. I think it's a matter of how the talent fits, what talent goes where, and what this roster needs. And I think that's a better position to be working from than to have like a cabinet that's devoid of food and devoid of, resources. And I think he's going to relish this opportunity.
Now, Vincent, when I would listen to you, I hear maybe a slight tone of optimism for Sacramento Kings fans, because on this day, there's a lot of doom and gloom out here in Sacramento. We have no assets, got to give up our draft pick, can't sign free agents.
Overcast outside.
Right, it's cloudy out. Nobody wants DeMar's contract or Zach's contract. Do you see a path for the Kings to sort of massage this and get back to some relevancy out there?
Yeah, I think I do. And I think it's the matter of choosing the path, right? Like, DeMar's older. You traded for Zach and signed him immediately. You know what I mean? Like, so you basically chosen your path with him. I think it's a matter of picking the players that you want to build around and then figuring out what can I get for the existing guys on the roster to recoup some of these draft picks, to recoup some of these resources in the long term. I don't think this is a 1 year sort of quick fix, but I don't think you're that far away. I think you have to decide, okay, what do we want to be? Do we want to be a competitive team that's a first-round team, or do we want to be a team that's in the conversation for something greater? If you want to be in the conversation for something greater, then you got to have the patience for, okay, a couple of years, as opposed to, hey, let's get right back to where we were when we were the third seed and we were playing the Warriors and we were 50 wins and everything else. Like, you got to acknowledge sometimes when you have lightning in the bottle of maybe what that season was, and not trying to recapture that, but trying to build something that is sustainable for the long term. That's the challenge for a lot of the quote unquote, middle franchises that aren't the Lakers or Golden State or the Celtics, is you have to be able to find a way to build something sustainable and not just chase the 8th seed or chase, maybe we can get to the 6th and we'll be happy with that. It's almost like having to have a greater appetite and not being satisfied.
Mm-hmm. That's Vincent Goodwill, senior NBA writer for Yahoo Sports. So, Vincent, a debate that's been raging this year amongst Kings fans who are as divided as they've ever been is, well, maybe they should tear it down. No, you don't want to do that. Now, they almost certainly won't. Ownership has shown no appetite for that. So it's very unlikely to happen. But do you think there's an argument there? Should the Kings consider tearing it down and just going into a total rebuild / tank mode?
I think that's always a sexy thing to say until you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody says tank, tank, tank because you're assuming that you're going to get the number one pick. And you're assuming that this number one pick is going to be this franchise-changing, healthy superstar that's going to immediately change your life from year one. So many things have to go right, guys, from the moment that you engage in this. Because basically what you're saying is the talent that we have, the players that we have in our roster isn't good enough. The culture that we're trying to build isn't good enough. That means you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball to say we have to do everything right. We are starting from an expansion-like space. And I don't know if anybody has ever been that good. Everybody says tank, and nobody goes and looks at what the Philadelphia 76ers haven't done for 20 damn years. All that stuff sounds nice. You tell me what playoff game the 76ers, being in a big market, having all those draft picks and everything else, what has that yielded them?
Nothing. I mean, and they're in a worse position now with that roster they got and all that money. Let me ask you this, though, because I know you go a ways back with Zach LaVine. I'm a big Zach LaVine fan. At his best, what is he as you chase a championship?
That is a great question. I think he is a high-level number 3. And that's not even a shot. That's a guy that you're saying, you know what? A number 3 can give me 25 points a night. Remember, Klay Thompson was a number 3 on that Golden State team that won with Kevin Durant. He was a very high-level third scorer that just created all types of matchup problems and could feast off of, the sun that orbited, which was, of course, Stephen Curry and then Kevin Durant. In a contender, he can be a number 2. I think if he's your second best player, I think you are in a really advantageous position. I think that also speaks to what type of number 1 that you have. It's less about what position Zach LaVine is in as much as it is who's the point guard, how is your defense structured, what do you have around him. But I think if you're asking Zach to go out there and score 25 a night, defend his position, give you 5 or 6 assists, because I think he's a better passer than he's shown, I think that's not unrealistic.
Vincent Goodwill, how about Domas? Because at some point you need to find your foundational piece. Do the Kings have that? Can Domas be that, or is it expecting too much to think that Domantas Sabonis, for all his double-doubles, is going to be that guy, your main guy, your foundational piece going forward?
He's a matchup problem, but subsequently he's also tougher to build around or tougher to peg.
Yeah.
Because you're not sure if is he better off playing 4 or 5?
Yeah.
A lot of times because he's not the rim protector, but he's not the shooter that can spread defenses either. Like you said, he can spread defenses with how he can, pass the ball. Like he's an exceptional passer. We all know about, everything that comes with him. I'm just wondering now if this isn't the type of team that is best suited for him. Like that's going to be Scott Perry's biggest challenge is identifying, what do I want this team to look like and what are the existing pieces that helps me get there. And Domas probably can get you something on the open market because he's probably a better fit on a contending team than it is trying to figure out how he fits with you guys.
That's a good point right there. Vincent Goodwill of Yahoo Sports joining us. Vincent, when you look at the trade of De'Aaron Fox, because everyone points to that as a way that the Kings botched it. They should have got more for De'Aaron Fox. Should have got Castle or at least Vassell and Keldon Johnson. What did you think De'Aaron Fox's value was out there, and did the Kings mess that trade up?
I don't know if they messed it up, but they didn't, maximize the value. I think here's the problem. Whenever you trade someone and you don't get the best player back, you're automatically operating behind the 8 ball in terms of public opinion. See Los Angeles Lakers, right? Like no return is going to be good enough when you trade the franchise guy. In addition to maybe you traded him too late because there was probably an unfair stink on De'Aaron Fox by the time it happened because Mike Brown had gotten fired, and it didn't seem like people were rushing to clear him from allegations of De'Aaron Fox ordered the code red. You know what I mean? Like all of those type of things that sort of linger in the background that thus can also alter what type of leverage that you have in the marketplace. And it can make the player be stubborn and say, you know what? I'm not going to help you. Trade me here. Like, that's the logic that Dallas probably had with trading Luka Doncic. If it gets out that we're trading you, we're shopping you, you're going to dictate where you go, and we're not going to get the best return, for us. You can argue those things never work out for the team giving away the start anyway, unless you're the Oklahoma City Thunder and you just raid everybody of all of their draft picks for the present and future. And those deals don't come around that often. I just think that's the one thing that every fan base is comparing it to is, why didn't we get the Oklahoma City like Hall for our star?
Right.
If it's not out there, it's not out there.
Vincent, let me ask you, if I may, about Keegan Murray, 4th pick in 2022. Here we are 3 years into his career, and he's still an asset. He's proven this year he's a really good defender. Overall, though, he hasn't quite found it. He hasn't played as well, as consistently as you'd think the 4th pick in the draft could. The Kings love having him here, but have the Kings done a disservice to him with all the turmoil and change while he's trying to develop as the NBA player we all know he can be?
That's a great question, because there's two schools of thought when you talk to coaches and executives. It's not necessarily Keegan, but just in general. It is, do you allow your 4th pick to grow with no competition and just allow him to make mistakes and he figures it out and you give him 35 minutes a night and everything else be damned? Or do you put him in an iron sharpens iron situation where, okay, we're going to bring some vets that's going to force you to be better and maybe take some minutes for you. So maybe you're going to have to be extremely better all the time to take those. Like, I get that. And I don't know what the best way is, but I do like him. Like the play last night where he chased down Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
You know, like it's plays like that it only shows up so much in the box score, but that type of dog, that type of effort, that's something that you want in your building. That's something that you want in your locker room. Guys like that, when they play that hard, they shame you into playing harder, because you don't want that guy to be the only guy out there playing hard. I think sometimes we also get stuck in, he's the 4th pick in the draft, he should be X type of player. A lot of times 4th picks in the draft aren't even productive. That's why it's a draft. That's why it's a lottery. It's a crapshoot. So I think if you look at the player he is now and the age he's at, I do like him. It's just a matter of, are we putting too much as far as expectations on him, or should he be specialized and fit in that role where, all right, he's going to shoot, he's going to defend, and that's going to be enough for us with what we put around him.
Senior NBA writer for Yahoo, Vincent Goodwill. Thank you, Vincent. We appreciate your time very much. I know Mr. Draper sounds like he does not appreciate it.
That's my guy,
but Jay
man.
and I appreciate it very much.
Did you see how he welcomed me onto your fair show? Not even a proper greeting, calling me Barack Obama. Just as nice as me.
Listen to this guy. Hey, man, I seen this guy go from ashy to classy, so I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, Benny.
Why you gotta talk like that about dark-skinned people? Why you gotta call us ashy?
Hey, thanks for taking our call, man. This is a legend out there in Detroit, man, and I'll see you again soon, man. You know that.
Love.
All right, bro.
Take care. When we come back, a look at Doug Christie's future as head coach of the Kings. Sacktown Sports.
Breaking: the Sacramento Kings and Scott Perry have finalized a deal for him to become the next GM of the Kings. Keep it here for up-to-date breaking Sacramento Kings news. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Looking for fun for the whole family? Sacramento Rivercats Baseball has it all at Sutter Health Park. Enjoy exciting baseball, kids' activities, tasty ballpark treats, and more. Family memories start here. Get your Rivercats baseball tickets at rivercats.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
I'm going to open a Pandora's box here because I just see some here in the text line and some that's been talked about on the station a lot. And I think Jay and I have touched on this, Trace, but I don't think we've talked about it on a day when you're here. For some reason, people are frustrated. A lot of fans are frustrated. And maybe it's because of everything that fans in Oakland did with John Fisher. There's actually a few people here or there on social media, and they're talking about they need to sell the team. And if that makes you feel better, bless you. I'm just telling you, it's a total waste of your time.
Right.
No one is going to sell this team.
Right.
No, the league is that leagues don't act on it. You can't force someone to sell a team unless they do something horrible, which is not the case here. And I understand the frustration. So I'm not trying to, be a homer, but I'm just telling you, you're wasting your time. I saw somebody today said something like, I'm getting money together to buy billboards that say sell the team. Like, save your money or spend it on something else.
Right.
I understand the frustration, but it's a waste of your time.
And chicken. And here's the thing, like the league ain't stepping in
because fans are unhappy because you lost the play.
You got to do something,
Yes.
that damages the league. Pretty much like
right.
The Clippers owner. Back in the day, Donald Sterling, Dan Snyder, or something like that. I mean, no, it's and I'm doing a post game show, and they were to sell the team chance.
Really,
the Vex sell the yes,
okay,
during the game,
yes, during the game, even it's getting loud out there, but there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Yes, I understand. Fans get frustrated, but yeah, if like I said, if it makes you feel better, fine. But if you're like spending money and organizing a movement. I just think there's better things to do with your money.
Yeah.
As Jay says, it's tough out there. There's a lot of people that need money. We don't need to waste money on that.
Yeah, that's.
If you own the Kings, would you consider selling
Heck
them?
no.
That's right.
Heck no. I mean, and here's the thing, too. I go back to Matt Ishbia. I believe Vivek really wants to win. I believe he wants to bring a championship to Sacramento. He just doesn't know how to do it. Same thing with Matt Ishbia down there in Phoenix. They just don't know how to do it. It's not for a lack of want or love for the organization or anything like that. And so I get the fan base's frustration. I get it. I understand it. But to sell the team?
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta do something egregious.
Right.
Guys never sell unless it becomes too expensive, like with Grossbeck in Boston.
Yeah.
You know, and he still is going to be governor of the Celtics. He's still going to be Mark Cuban, sold out. He's still got a little bit of involvement. He's still got part of it. So it's just, it doesn't make sense to sell for him business-wise.
Yeah. So, that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, John Paul in the chat says, I heard those chants last night at the end of the game. I was already gone by then. So
what time did you get out of there? He left in the second quarter, probably.
No,
halftime.
Late third.
Damn.
It's just like, yeah, okay. I'm out.
All right, you stuck around.
I'm out, Verlad.
No, you
Verlad's
went about
right behind me.
You went about 8,000 people left at about that time.
I just beat.
Did you just beat it?
You could feel it coming too.
Yeah, it emptied out quickly there.
Yeah,
like going into the fourth, people were like filing out. Yeah, it was rough.
Vincent Goodwill with some interesting comments on the Kings, and it sounds like he's trying to be a good guest and everything, but he sounds like he's, as you said, almost optimistic potentially about this hire.
He's saying not bottom out. He's saying there is some talent there, some pieces there to work with. I tend to it, but the one thing he said that 100%, you have to identify. Scott Perry needs to come in and say, all right, I'm going to win with this guy, whether it's Domas, Zach, whoever. And then every move after that should be about making sure the fit, if he's your guy, if he's going to be one of your guys that helps lead you to the championship, you got to, because right now we haven't built around anybody. The lineup, the roster that we have does not suit Domas's game. It doesn't suit Zach's game. It doesn't suit DeMar's game. We haven't built around anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We got a bunch of hodgepodge, potpourri,
year,
everybody just thrown together.
Definitely hodgepodge city.
Yes, exactly. And so Scott Perry has to identify, is Domas our center? Is Zach our two guard? I'm building around those two every move. I think Keegan could fit in easily with those. Like Keegan, I think, what I saw from him, and Vincent brought it up, those blocks he had on Anthony Davis, those competes, I almost think we need to unleash the beast a little bit when it comes to Keegan Murray. I think, he's being held back just a little bit. Like what I saw, not only last night, but, the second half of this season from him defensively, effort-wise, that's something we can harness. That's something we should keep.
Here's something I noticed about Scott Perry that is not discouraging. I don't want to get too excited. It's too early to get excited. We're still dealing with the fallout of this year. But we know that the Kings right now, they don't have a superstar, right? Like a top 10 player. Right. And we know that given where they are in the standings and market-wise, it's tough to get that type of player.
Mm-hmm.
So we have talked a lot, haven't we, on this show about who are teams that have won championships without that guy? Who do we always say?
Detroit.
Scott Perry was hired as a front office executive for the Pistons by Joe Dumars in 2000 as a member of their executive team. He assisted in building a roster that went to 6 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, 2 Eastern Conference championships, and the 2004 NBA championship.
Wow. Okay. So he has built.
He has had a hand in it.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
Maybe I'm grabbing at straws there, but it is true.
I think it's a good pickup, man. Because one thing that Vincent Goodwill talked about is Scott Perry's not one of those gimmicky guys. He's an old school basketball guy, recognizes talent, and I look at, some of his draft picks, De'Aaron Fox, we talked about, he hit on. I actually liked RJ Barrett. He was part of that. Obi Toppin has turned into a solid NBA player. And he has the relationships. He's universally respected, it sounds like. And that's something we could use in our front office right now.
One of the things I remember about Scott Perry, he went to the Knicks, and I've talked to Sam about this, but we're a little fuzzy on if this was just a rumor or what. But as I remember, there are reports that Scott Perry, after he went to the Knicks, he saw that the Kings might take Luka, so he was going to trade Porzingis for De'Aaron Fox.
Oh yeah,
but the Kings didn't want to do it. So the Kings could have had Luka and Porzingis, which, as you know, when they were together, they didn't
work out. Yeah, but that could have been a nice one too. It sounds like.
Yeah. And then the thoughts on Keegan. Keegan still, I don't,
called him a dog.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that?
I did.
It's like, what? Or have we watched the same? Never mind.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Nah, but I do think, like, I see a little something in there, guys.
A dog?
Your version of dog, and what I see a competitor. How about that?
All right.
Can I say that?
I'll take that.
Because to me, a dog is, we're talking Dylan Brooks and Draymond. That's not it. But the dude competes. He doesn't give up on plays. What he did to Anthony Davis, down by 20, down by 25, still out there hustling.
Yeah.
I like that from him.
Yeah. He made some great plays on track down blocks this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Not giving up, Whitey. We need that kind of thing, man. We need that. And so somebody in the YouTube chat, Compio, who is holding Murray back? Murray is holding Keegan back. He doesn't have the killer instinct to be a star. I don't need him to be a star. Aaron Gordon is not a star right now. If I can get him to that level, that's what I'm saying. I feel like, and think about it on this team. He's their fourth option?
Mm-hmm.
He's never been higher than a fourth option in this franchise. Let him cook a little bit. Let him rock out a little bit. I want to see what I can get from Key.
How long you willing to sit on it, though? I think that's the question for Kings fans.
If he were to decide not to re-up, because they'll offer him extension.
Well, he said he wanted to.
Yeah, that's good. Value. That would be, in my opinion, if he were to decide, that would be bad news. I'm in for the long haul with
turn down the extension. Huh?
Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right. And
you still didn't answer the question, though.
Oh, how long?
Yeah, how long are you willing to?
My point is, I'm in for the long haul.
Okay, so for 8 years, 10 years, and he stays the same, you ready to rock it?
Yes.
Okay.
I need this upcoming season. But I need the organization to put him in that position to succeed. Allow him the opportunity. I'm listening to Eddie Johnson said it earlier driving in, and he talked about how, our offense, DeMar can get his, Zach can get his. Keegan's not a get his kind of guy. I mean, he could be, but he's a team basketball player, run the offense. Like, I'd like to see more stuff drawn up for Keegan Murray. Feature him a little more out there
they
offensively.
Start games that way.
Yeah, but they backed away a little bit, I felt like, too, Whitey. There was a stretch, a good month stretch where it looked like early on they were trying to get Keegan involved. I didn't see it the last few weeks. But what I see, to me, Keegan probably can be a really good number 3 on a championship contender. And that's no slight to him. I'm talking Aaron Gordon-ish. And I would take that in a heartbeat.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We'll look at Coach Christie's future and what Vincent Goodwill had to say about Zach LaVine when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places that I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635. And you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now. No more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
The great Brendan Nunes has discovered a very interesting clip from the past. Scott Perry and some things he had to say about a current Sacramento King. Very interesting. We'll get to that just a moment here. Drive guys. Thanks for helping us through today. You doing any better today, Drapes?
Yeah, I'm a little bit. Dog, I know I got 2 hours and about 8 minutes left, so I'm not that I'm looking or anything, but your boy's tired. I'm tired.
Don't you find the more you're aware of how long it is exactly, the longer it takes? See, sometimes I just I always look at the clock.
I know. What are you talking about? Yeah, you always on the clock. I remember yesterday out at Doco, you were worried about the clock.
I wasn't worried about the clock. See, if it's like, depending on what time it is, then I know, all right, I have time to start another thought. Or I'll just stick the one I'm doing and wrap it up.
All right. That's just good producing, right? Good hosting.
Just trying to just
all right.
It's not like, what's on to break?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Yeah, stick around for that Scott Perry clip. Very interesting, huh, Drapes?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
I have not heard the full thing yet. Yeah.
Let's see what Trey has to say. Trey, you're on with the Drive Guys. Thanks for hanging. What's up?
It's all good, man. Drive Guys, my guys, man.
What's up with you, man?
Look. Hey, it's today, man. We in it right now, so I'm kind of glad it's over. We had the hope, but it just didn't pan out. But I want to address a couple things real quick. First off, the game last night, they played. It was just atrocious. It was horrible. They act like they didn't know what they was doing, where they was going, who they was guarding. I kind of put a little bit of that on Doug. He should have had them prepped. He should have had them knowing that Domas was going to be going against the three bigs. And I mean, like, what did you get Valanciunas for? That was the lineup you should have put out there. Sabonis, Valanciunas, somebody to kind of counteract that, because they're not going to shoot from the outside. Lively and the other guy, and Gafford.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to get on Domas a little bit, because I hear people calling in talking about we too hard on Domas. No, Domas wanted all that smoke. He's a point center. And in his interview today, I heard him say, oh, we need a point guard. How about we need a center? How about we get somebody that's going to play and go out there, block somebody, and play defense? Slap somebody. Do something. He played horrible.
He did. He was awful.
You know, he was awful. And for him to say that, no, Domas, you can't do that today. You can't call out nobody. You need to look at yourself. You know? So
Gotcha.
this is what we're going through. This is where we at.
Mm-hmm.
And then one more quick thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Is that I don't know how Perry going to work out. I'm hearing good things about him. I'm hoping that what he can do is if he can get the fit right. Because we definitely need to make some alterations. We cannot go into next season again with Zach LaVine and DeRozan. I call them mud feet. Because they don't move their feet and they get beat all the time. We got to have a better plan. All right, man. That's all I got, man. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, baby. Thanks, Trey. After games like last night, and we had, unfortunately, a few of them this year, you hear Coach Christie often say something that's unacceptable, you know, and then we talked about this. Well, you have to accept it. What do you do? But last night from Domas, that was unacceptable to the point where I had never really thought about this. But, I mean, if I had anything to do with it, I'd definitely be seeing what I could get for him after last night. Maybe that's a little of an emotional reaction, but that was very disappointing when I really needed him to be good.
Right.
And he was like the worst I've ever seen him.
Last night was one of those games, Whitey, where if you're an owner, if you're somebody in charge, nobody's safe. You know, get rid of them all. Like everybody's on the block, you know, because it was that embarrassing, you know, and you know, I think Doug pointed out they outscored them in 3 of the 4 quarters.
Yeah.
But after the second quarter, Dallas it was a glorified scrimmage for them. You know what I mean? They got what they wanted when they wanted it. And so we went into yesterday's game talking about the Domas-Anthony Davis matchup. And our guy didn't live up to the billing. He wasn't ready for the fight. And not just him. Nobody was ready for the fight. Let's call it what it is. And to Trey's point, today ain't the day to be, we need this, we need that. Today is the day to wake up and say, damn, I should have been better.
Yeah, I needed to be better.
I needed to be better. You know, I mean, down the line, we could talk about point guards and all that. But on this day, what the hell happened, guys? Like, you know, how are you feeling about that performance last night? Did Domas speak after the game, or was he interrupted because of the team meeting? I think he
didn't that I know.
Yeah,
I think positive
because you know how the whole Monte firing went down and everything.
Yeah,
media in the locker room waiting, you know, trying to interview players, and then they get called out. But like that's the time. Like, I don't think anybody could go to bed last night thinking I did my job, because it just wasn't the case.
Let's address just for a second what Trey said there about Doug and whether he was out coached, because, you know, a lot of people have been saying that. And as you pointed out, it was the second quarter, came down to the second quarter. The Kings did not look ready to play last night. And so it's always fair to question the coach there. You know, who knows? We've seen that from them before. I was also thinking during the game, like second half, as the Kings would creep in within like 16, you know, and that's as close as they got. And I was wondering, is there something else you can try? Now, at that point, they were going to, no matter what Doug Christie did at that point, they're probably going to lose. So it might not even have mattered. I did think they needed to speed up the game. And, you know, with DeMar, that's hard to do sometimes. Again, I don't know if that would have mattered. Maybe, you know, put Doug McDermott in sooner. I'd put Valanciunas in sooner. But these are just like absolute Hail Marys.
Yeah.
If you could criticize Doug Christie for last night, I think it would be he didn't have his team ready. But the way it looked last night, I'm not sure that was on the coach.
Yeah, and I go back to that Klay Thompson situation, man, in that second quarter. I don't know if it was the game plan or a lack of execution on Domas's part. But 3 of those threes that Klay Thompson had came on pretty much the same action. And I'm sitting there thinking, is this what our defense was instructed to do? It can't be.
And Drapes, wasn't that at a point where the Kings were trying to creep back in?
And then Clay just hit him like bang, bang, bang. And we were out for the count. And so I'm going to give Doug some grace for this reason. And we've talked about it here, and I got to point it out again. That wasn't his staff with him. That's not his guys. I believe if Doug Christie comes back as head coach, Whitey, he needs to have some veteran assistants with him. Same way J.J. Redick got it. And there's no slight to Doug or anything. It just makes sense. Like when you have a rookie head coach, give him the resources and the support so he's successful.
Paying Alvin Gentry.
Right.
Just
Move
have him
Alvin
sit over there instead of under the basket.
Hey, Joe Mazzulla didn't
Gentry.
become a great coach until they added some assistants. Sam Cassell. Yeah, Sam Cassell. Some guys that have been around the league for a while.
I think Bobby Jackson will be back next year.
We up against it, right? I'm not.
Be weird, Philly.
No comment. He's under contract, Whitey. He got a few more years left in Philly under contract.
Really? Yeah, that's what I said. Okay. Be weird, Philly.
Yeah. All right. Stranger things. By the way, Jerry Reynolds coming up bottom of the next hour. When we come back, we'll get back to the phones, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We're going to hear what Scott Perry had to say about Zach LaVine. That's all coming up. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Breaking: the Sacramento Kings and Scott Perry have finalized a deal for him to become the next GM of the Kings. Keep it here for up-to-date breaking Sacramento Kings news. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Go yard with BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Enjoy top odds on your favorite home run bets, fast and convenient ways to play same-game parlays, special boosts and tokens, and so much more. From the first pitch to the game-winning fireworks, there are more ways than ever to supercharge your excitement. Download the BetMGM app and get your piece of MLB action. BetMGM is an official partner of Major League Baseball. BetMGM and GameSense reminds you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. First bet offers for new customers only. All other promotions for existing customers. Subject to eligibility requirements. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Major League Baseball trademarks. Used with permission.
What would it take for a plumbing company to earn your trust? Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And let's face it, plumbing and service companies don't always have the best reputation.
So to earn your trust, the first thing they'd have to do is actually answer the phone when you call with a real live person. Then they'd have to send a plumber when you needed them, day or night, without charging extra for emergency services.
A trustworthy plumber would show up on time, wearing a clean uniform and name badge, and be able to show that they had passed a background check and drug test.
A plumber you could trust would give you a firm quote on the job before starting and clean up after they finish the job.
That's exactly the plumber you'll get when you call Bell Brothers, a plumber you can trust. Call Bell Brothers right now for all your plumbing needs. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Your next adventure is waiting at Sky River Casino with a $500,000 travel around the world giveaway. Get 1 free daily entry and 100 bonus entries every Monday and Tuesday. Earn more entries by playing slots and table games. Join us every Saturday, where you can pack your bags as our guaranteed $15,000 dream vacation winner. Visit skyriver.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
The word "for" has been used in golf for centuries, and its origins can be traced to the Middle Ages. According to historians, the word "for" is derived from the Old English word meaning before or in front of. In those days, the term was used to warn people of incoming arrows during archery practice. Another theory suggests that "for" has military connections. During the 19th century, artillery officers would yell "for" to warn their troops of incoming shells. This practice may have carried over to golf. The most popular theory, however, is that "for" has Scottish roots. In Scotland, "forecaddy" was used to describe a person who walked ahead of the golfers to spot where their ball landed. The forecaddy would then yell "for" to warn the golfers if their ball was heading towards another golfer or a spectator. Today, "for" is used to warn golfers or spectators of an errant shot. Whether it's derived from the Middle Ages, military practice, or Scottish roots, "for" has become an integral part of the game of golf, and now you know why. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Can I say to make you see how I feel? To make me want to jump over the edge. I'm charged up and stuff is getting shot up on the leg.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Drive Guys picking through the wreckage of the Kings' lost season and examining what we know of the plans to put it back together. Is there any way they could put this back together? Let me tell you this, if you're looking for inspiration, Carmichael Dave's area here is cleaned up now. Remember what it was like, a month ago?
Yeah, it's like he cleaning out his locker, huh?
Yeah, it's like there was a new head of the company coming in or something, and he got word and decided to clean it up.
Spring cleaning, fellas, spring cleaning.
But if that can be cleaned up, still needs a little work, then there's hope for the Kings.
Right.
Because that was an absolute disaster area.
Yeah. That area was like this season, right?
Yes.
It was that bad.
I was going to say it was worse, but no, it's close. Interesting thought here in the chat, though, from Lucky7. Says, I don't think we care about what we got back for Fox anymore. The question is, why let Monte trade Fox and then fire the GM months later? Because Monte wasn't really the GM. Vivek has been the de facto GM. And that's another thing we talk about. Well, you want to have the GM hire his coach. I think Doug's going to stay because the GM is Vivek and the GM is picking his coach. That's what I think's going on. We'll see how Scott Perry's able to navigate those challenging waters.
I do think Monte was open to trading De'Aaron Fox. I mean, he was open to trading De'Aaron Fox when they had Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
You go back then,
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the first time. And so I look at it as, Monte was the timing of it. I fully expected them to move Fox during the offseason. I didn't get, and so maybe that's because at the time they were playing halfway decent. And then all of a sudden the Fox news came out and that sort of derailed things and really, and so I wonder if that upset Vivek and he said, nope, we got to do it now or whatever. And one thing we've talked about, why not open it up to all bidders? Why is it just San Antonio or bust? Like, where were some of the other offers out there? I didn't hear about any other offers. I didn't hear Washington offered this, this, and this. I didn't hear Miami offered this, this, and this. How come, and so I just thought the timing of it seemed rush. It seemed like, why you got to do it right now? It didn't make sense.
Isn't it too, but isn't that the point of it? I know we've had the conversations, Drapes, it's difficult when the power is removed from your hand and or you as the person have to be good in your understanding of coming to De'Aaron and saying, and Jerry has talked about this, right? And we can ask him about it. And I 100% agree. I've said this.
Jerry Reynolds brought up in the hour.
Yeah, you have to look De'Aaron in the eye and say, man, I don't really give a damn what you want right now. I'll talk to you in off season. And it takes people with foundation and the goal to do that.
And the backing.
And the backing to do it. Right. And so I think that still is the same question. That's what you continue to keep on saying. Did he have that? Or was he a lame duck anyway? At that point.
Yeah. Let's talk to RJ here on Sacktown Sports. Hey, RJ, thanks for hanging on. What's up?
Good afternoon, guys. I was born in Michigan. I'm hearing a reverb on my voice here. But anyway.
You got your radio down?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You're good on our end. So go. Yeah, you sound fine on our end.
So basically what I'm getting at is that I was born in Michigan. I was raised in Sacramento. And the reason I bring this up is because for all of my life, I have been a Detroit Lions and Sacramento Kings fan. And basically, pretty much my whole life, that's been the worst possible combo you can be as a fan. But the reason I bring it up is because the Detroit Lions have basically the last 2 or 3 years demonstrated the blueprint of how to rebuild a team. And how they do that is you get a coach, you get a general manager, you give them equal contracts, equal amount of time, and you tell them, okay, this is your team now, make it happen. And you have those two guys be on the same page 100% as far as what kinds of players they want. We're talking culture. Do they want defense? Do they want up-tempo, this and that? But then you go get that team. And if an NFL team can rebuild a 53-man roster and become a legitimate contender in 3 years, it shouldn't be that difficult to do it with 12 players on an NBA roster. So if I'm the Kings, I keep Keegan Murray, I keep Devin Carter, I might keep Keon Ellis and everybody else. I send them out. I might call Indiana and see if they want Sabonis back for Halliburton and take it from there. Anyway, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I feel like I should send him a sympathy card. Yeah. Obviously, times are better now for him, but he was a Lions and a Kings fan.
Yeah.
That's
the Lions are decent now, though.
I know they are, but there was a few years there where thank you for the call. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get Halliburton back.
All right, just for Sabonis. I'm sure Indiana would do that. Yeah. I don't get this. Let's just keep Keegan, Devin Carter, and Keon. I don't get that. That's not going to get you that far.
No, but I understand why people say it, because it's like, those are our guys. Those are the guys that we drafted and developed, and they're young and they're scrappy. You're right, but it's more kind of a sentimental view
than an actual basketball analysis view.
Yeah, although I have no problem keeping them. It's just like you got to keep other guys too.
Like,
right?
I'm of the belief, like, if you want to get rid of Domas, Zach, DeMar, like, everybody is for the right price. Come on now, everybody is on the table. If that's your thinking, that's what I would think.
Yeah, I know that it doesn't matter, but Devin Carter wasn't bad last night.
Nah, don't look at the box score. Don't. He got blown by a few times too, Whitey. Nobody was good. Nobody was good, Whitey.
I said he wasn't bad.
All right.
Yeah. How about Javier on Sacktown Sports? Javi, what's going on?
How you doing today, Mr. Draper, Mr. Gleason?
What's up, man?
I called to, let you know that I believe, again, success is linear. And I know, no disrespect to you, Draper, but, you've been here for 3-4 years. So we've been through this for 13 years. You don't get rid of the executive of the year, the coach of the year, the clutch of the year, less than 2 years later and tell me, well, it's not how the NBA works. No. You don't get rid of something that's gone good when you've been bad for so long. I've been through this for the last 13 and a half years with this cartoon character we call Vivek. 32 years of my total life. Mr. Gleason has been through it. Mr. J has been through it with me, without me, or anything in between. You don't sit there and tell us, a fan.
What are you talking about? Javi, stop. What are you talking about? What did I say? What are you talking about? Heck, don't come in here with your pimped up anger because the squad struggles and put it out on me. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Javi?
Because you sat there and told me that the Kings' problem was not something that could be as wow, you got rid of Mike Brown in December, that was the end of the season. This needed to be changed. No, it didn't. The Kings were going through what we call average situation that any good competent organization can acknowledge and try to get in the room and fix. But the Kings make irrational.
No, I'm going to cut you off real quick, Javi. Let's start with that point. When you have a segment of the players that won't play for a coach, that don't want the guy as coach, you got to make a move, Javi. You got to.
The same players that went to the 3 seed win 48 games the year prior or 2 years prior.
Yes, things change. Things change. Look what happened with Taylor Jenkins. Look what happened. Who else got just fired? And
Michael Malone.
Michael Malone. Things changed. 2 years ago, Michael Malone won them a championship. 2 years later, some of the guys in the locker room weren't riding with him. Things changed.
I'm not worried about none of them because the Kings are what we're worried about. And those teams have had success and made runs in the playoffs and won a postseason championship in the NBA Finals. We had one good season, 2 good seasons, and 16. And this is just a rerun. This is a rinse, wash off, repeat. How many years is the new GM going to last Scott Perry? 3 seasons? The way that DeSandro lasted 4, Vlade lasted 5, McNair lasted 4.5. Now it's going to be Perry for 3, 4, 5 years. Any good organization, you said, well, Christie's the coach because Vivek decided. Any competent organization that hires a GM that hires his coach. Until somebody has the courage and the nuts to tell Vivek, until you start doing things differently, there's going to be the same result you get over and over and over again. And the players don't like what he was doing, Mike Brown, that is, then they need to go too. Because Mike Brown had an X and a Y accident. His team was going the right direction. You lose 5 games straight and you give up on everything? What happened in 2022, 2023? We were the 3rd team in the West. And now we're a joke again. We are bad all over again. That ain't pent-up stress. That's what you call a bad organizational philosophy. And until Kings fans start putting their money where their mouth is, there's going to be an ongoing cycle every 3 to 5 years. It ain't about me being upset. It's about reality, sir.
Thank you, Javi. Javi speaks for There's a lot of fans that are very upset today.
Dude.
Can't make an owner sale, though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Who going to tell the owner?
It's tough.
You can't do this.
I hear the frustration.
Who's going to tell the
I
owner
hear the
that,
frustration.
That's the one person in the organization that don't answer to anybody.
Right.
He sets the agenda.
Yes. Jerry Reynolds, bottom of the hour. When we come back, Jay, when we come back, can we hear from Scott Perry? Yeah, on what he had to say about Zach LaVine a couple years ago. Interesting. It's next. Sacktown Sports.
Breaking: the Sacramento Kings and Scott Perry are finalizing a deal for him to become the next GM of the Kings. Keep it here for up-to-date breaking Sacramento Kings news. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel. If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. we have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
I'm ready to go right now.
We've seen a lot of crazy stuff in the NBA. You know, I have been here for 11, going on 12 years. So, you know, it's the nature of the business. You know, things move really fast, and it's what we've grown accustomed to. But, you know, we appreciate everybody that, you know, that's obviously been here and worked with us. I've only been here for so long. There's been a lot of moving parts. So it's just just how the NBA is.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
That was Zach LaVine. You're going to hear some interesting things that Scott Perry had to say about Zach LaVine. And it was a couple years ago, in all fairness, and he was in a different role. So we're not trying to start anything, but it's interesting. Before we get to that, can you guys help me, because I think you guys would know better than I, the players that spoke today, those who were asked about their future here or who commented on it, who said they want to stay here? And it doesn't really mean anything, because players can say that and it not be true and vice versa. But I know Keegan said, like, oh, I want to stay.
Yeah. Domas.
Domas did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keon.
I know Zach LaVine said, why wouldn't I want to stay here?
Zach said it.
Okay.
JV.
All right.
And Lavia.
Okay.
That's as far as I've gotten on as far as.
And Trey
Lyles did not. He wasn't asked that, though.
Do we know if DeMar, he just said it was the toughest year he's had?
No, he was asked. Remember last night he was asked about future, and he said he was going to take needed some time or whatever, and then to go over some things. And then today, someone from the media doubled down and said, "Have you had an opportunity?" He was like, nah, I'm still going to take some time. So he wasn't asked that in particular, like, do you want to come back?
Right, but he was non-committal.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So Lavia would be.
Yeah, Lavia was like, I want to be here. Love coming to Sac. You know. Definitely a high interest for me.
Scott Perry going to have to work some contractual magic there, but it's doable, as you pointed out.
Yes, it is doable. And I wonder but is Scott Perry as high on Jake Lavia as the previous regime was? Mm-hmm. I don't know. We got to find that out.
Is Scott Perry as high on Zach LaVine as the current regime is?
Good question. I have not spoken to him. I wouldn't know. You got some info or something?
Brendan Nunes found this, right? And then Jay found it. This was make sure I get this right. This was in 2023.
November 20th, 2023.
Okay.
At that time, he was former GM. He had just kind of got let go from the Knicks. This is on Hoops Genius, New York Basketball. He talks about Zach LaVine.
Yeah. This is
no question that Zach LaVine can score the basketball. He has proven that his 9 years in the NBA. I know this is his 10th season. He has shot the ball well. He's a career 38% three-point shooter. Explosive athlete. He has proven that he can score the basketball. Next thing that I look at does he impact winning? Zach LaVine has been to one playoff series in 9 years. So he's played a total of 4 playoff basketball games. So now I say to myself, I'm looking at paying 40 this year, 43, 46 and 49 million in subsequent years for a guy who to this point has not impacted winning to the level that his money says he should impact. So there's not a real match there, in my opinion. Now, as I look at the teams, and you bring up a good point, Mo, when you start talking about him as a third option, which I think is the best fit.
So anyway, that's again, just to be clear, that was 2023. Scott Perry was not employed by anybody at the time. He had just left the Knicks. So interesting thoughts on Zach LaVine. 2 ways to read that. One, he says he doesn't win enough to get paid what he's getting paid. All that has changed now. You know, his contract is not as onerous as it was at that time because everybody's
relative
getting paid
to everything
more.
else.
Yeah. And then the other thing he said was, as a third guy. But I don't know, on this team, Drapes, could Zach LaVine, could he be your third guy? I think the Kings need him to be more than that.
Currently constructed, yes. Yeah. Yes. And, we think that. But if Scott Perry is saying what he said, and who knows if he still holds that belief. That leads me to believe, in his mind, he needs to get somebody better than Zach on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, how does he do that? He said a third option. He said a good number 3. And so, and this is with it being a new guy coming in, he want to make his mark. He's not coming in just to run it back. You know what I mean? He's being brought in to build a champion, build a winner. It's almost like a new boss coming in and, you know, you get rid of the entire coaching staff. You fire it, you clean the house, and you're starting from scratch. And so I wonder how much Scott Perry will do this first offseason on the job. Or does he need to evaluate, and everything like that?
By the way, if I were another GM of an NBA team and Scott Perry contacted me and wanted to trade Zach LaVine, I'd say, hold on. First thing I do would be to find that
play
clip
that
and play it for him. Go, this guy?
Right. So I'm looking at NBA contracts, player salaries this past season here. Brad Beal is at $50 million. Probably the worst contract in the league. As much as we talk about Zach, Brad Beal is here. Paul George, 49.2. That's a bad contract, right? Okay. Just going through the list here. And then it's our guy, Zach LaVine. He's the 15th this season highest paid player, 44.5. Rudy Gobert right after him. Is that an overpay? Bad contract, Gobert, would you say? Or he has a specific skill set that you can.
It's a bit of an overpay.
Rudy Gobert, 43.8.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's some contracts here that make you.
Where's CP3
with the Frank?
CP3 is low this year, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was on that last one.
His contract got redone and gone through the wash a couple times, right?
Yeah. I'm looking. Fred VanVleet is making 42.8. Dang.
You know who they might pursue? You've heard.
KD.
Yeah, the Rockets.
The real KD.
Give up some of them young talents, Tariq Eason, and I'll take a few of them youngsters. Yeah.
I would also say, in terms of Zach LaVine and what Scott Perry said about him again a couple years ago, Zach LaVine has changed. He's been healthier. This year, he's had a hyper efficient year, his most efficient year offensively. Yeah. But we all know, we saw what happened last night. It's like you and I talked a lot yesterday, Drapes, about how the Kings need their best players to play well tonight, and he was. He's had some big games, and he's had some of those games where he goes off from 3, and it's something you rarely see, but he's had so many games where it's just like, as Scott Perry said, he didn't really impact your ability to win the game.
And the thing about it, it seems like his points come in bunches.
Yes.
It's not like 12 in the first, 8 in the second, 10 in the third. Like, it's like 16 in the third, and then he needs to be a little more consistent out there from start to finish, no doubt. If he's going to be our guy, that's all I got. Yeah, that's all.
If he's gonna stay on board, they have to figure out how to use him better, how to make him a better fit.
Yeah,
the offense that's one of the reasons the turnovers were so bad last night. No one seemed to have any idea what they were doing offensively. Domas couldn't hang on to the ball, but the actions, things they're running, it looked like they're not really running anything. And if he's running something, that guy's running something else.
Right. They weren't on the same page. A lot of ISO ball, especially in the second half. It was brutal to watch, man. It made me think, like, what's the game plan? What's the offense? What are we running out here? Because it didn't seem like there was any cohesion at all.
So what does that all mean going forward here for the Kings? And how about Scott Perry returning to Sacramento? Jerry Reynolds will break it down for us. The guy who's been general manager of the Kings, joining us next year. Drive Guys on this monumental day, the day after the season ends on Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento, get ready. The Sacktown Sports Live events calendar is packed with epic shows you won't want to miss. Classic rock bands, America takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento on May 9th. Then hip-hop legend LL Cool J brings the beats to Thunder Valley on May 10th. The Outlaw Music Festival rolls into Toyota Amphitheater on May 18th. And punk pioneers The Dam hit Ace of Spades on May 31st. June heats up with JJ Gray and Mofro at Ace of Spades on June 10th. Plus, country superstars Lee Brice and Walker Hayes at Ironstone Amphitheater on June 21st. Then it's 3 days of country fun at the Country Summer Music Festival at Sonoma County Fairgrounds on June 27th through the 29th. Get your boots ready for the Folsom Pro Rodeo July 3rd through 5th. Then catch Cody Johnson at Golden One Center on July 18th and Parker McCollum at Ironstone Amphitheater on August 16th. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and don't miss out. Find all the details at sacktownsports.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. SubcontractorsUnited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Skeeter here, Field Tech, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District. Hey, it's my favorite week of the year, Mosquito Awareness Week. Yep, the spring and warm weather means the little suckers are starting to breed and bite. Gotcha. So it's time to fight the bite. Once a week, drain standing water from flower pots, bird baths, dog dishes, and at dawn and dusk, start using insect repellent outside and wear long clothes, because these skeeters are out for blood.
The Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you it's time to fight the bite. For more information, go to fightthebite.net.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Spring is here, and that means gigantic savings for all your oil change needs at Jiffy Lube today. Get a $25 gift card with the purchase of any Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change through May 31st at your local Jiffy Lube service center in the greater Sacramento areas. And don't forget about the additional $30 off online coupon at jiffylube.com. Terms apply. Valid email address required. See pennzoil.com/rewards for details. Jiffy Lube, huge spring savings for you today.
At Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. Whether you purchase a new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, Elk Grove Honda has the right Honda at the right price. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard, or elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Kings fans have questions flying around inside their brains like crazy bats. Can anybody answer any of these questions? Can anybody tell us what happened last night, where it all goes from here? No one can. If anybody can come close, it would be nobody. There's no chance. If anybody can come close, it would be our next guest, our favorite time of the week. It's time to join all-time Kings icon, Jerry Reynolds. I think I know, but how are you today, Jerry?
Oh, just fabulous. My God. I can't tell you how much fun I'm having today. I mean, it reminds me almost as much fun as when I sprained my ankle in Milwaukee, a mile away from the hotel.
Wow. What'd you do then? Did you have to call a cab or something? Or
No, well, I didn't. I dragged it back. You know, I stepped off a curb and a couple old women were looking at me, and I wanted to cry, but I thought I'd act tough in front of them, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's pretty much how it is. You know, this is definitely one of those days that you can't put lipstick on this pig, I'll tell you.
What surprised you, if anything, really surprised you the most about the way the game actually unfolded last night?
Well, after the first quarter, I thought, shoot, they're playing pretty well. Looks like, we're going to have a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the second quarter came, and we didn't.
No.
Game over. And a little tiny run there in the third, but meaningless. But, yeah, it's just extremely disappointing. Main guys, I mean, Domas probably had his worst game of his career, in my opinion, just was out of sorts. And Zach, you needed a big game from Zach. Didn't happen. DeRozan got a lot of points, but I thought pretty empty calories, really. It's just very, very, it's really disappointing for Doug to see the team end that way because it was just a very poor performance.
Jerry Reynolds with us here the day after on Sacktown Sports.
Jerry, it's Drapes here, man. I'm in my feelings right now, Jerry. I'm in my feelings. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I know you've been here before. What is this day like when an organization goes through so much turmoil, turnover, roller coaster? What is this day like for coaches and players, would you say?
Well, yeah, it's obviously a time of reflection. I mean, and that things have to change. That the way it ended or the season was a very disappointing one. Certainly, I can recall a couple of cases where it was that way, and everybody understood. Hey, things have to change. Players knew that. Coaches, front office, everybody. And I think that's where we are. I mean, if thinking that the fans are going to be excited about bringing it back, I think front office better think again and ownership, because I know just reading my buddies and people on the Kings Herald, which I really do enjoy because they're great writers and Kings fans, and they're down, buddy. They are down. They're not feeling the love for the Kings right now.
Jerry Reynolds with us. It seems like there was some dysfunction or disorganization in the front office all season long. A lot of things going on. Last night, I got the sense that some of that may have actually trickled down to the play on the floor. I don't know if one necessarily is, exactly related to another, but didn't the team looks very disorganized at both ends of the floor last night?
Sure did. And I mean, I can't. I'm with you there a little bit. It'd be hard to believe that that it wouldn't have some effect. I mean, those things aren't total secret. I mean, clearly, when you when the general manager is forced out and his replacement is secured right away. I mean, we're not talking about an exhausting, a long search, are we?
Yeah. What do you know about Scott Perry from his brief time here?
Well, I've known him a good while when he was scouting for the Pistons and a few other teams over the years, and he's a good basketball man, a very good basketball man. I know his stint with the Knicks didn't go well when he left here, but I mean he's a very competent basketball man. Of course, I think Monte McNair is too, by the way. But is he going to be able to solve all the problems? I wish he could, but I don't expect that to happen. No, I think he's a competent basketball man, and I wish him well. But he's inheriting a team and a situation that's going to take a lot of work, a lot of big decisions, maybe some risks need to be taken. So no reason to try to hit bunt singles. You better try to knock one out of the park.
Wow.
How about that?
When you say knock one out of the park,
Zion!
what does that mean, Jerry? Is that get Zion Williamson here? Is that trade for Kevin Durant? Like, what's knocking it out of the park?
Well, I don't know about Kevin because of age and everything, but I certainly would think Zion. Yeah, and there's tremendous risk. It probably wouldn't even work. But if you could get him and he would get healthy, you actually have a difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you're not going to be able to draft one.
Right.
And so, I mean, yeah, would you do it? Sure. And it's like anything else, I think, for the right price. But I think that, I mean, I'll just put it this way. People forget that when the Kings traded for Weber,
right.
Now, Webb was not beloved in Golden State. You know, they got rid of him after 1 year. And then Washington, it wasn't about his play, but there were a lot of issues there.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of risk, and he didn't want to be in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. So there was a tremendous amount of risk, but as it turned out, there was a great reward.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, so every situation is different, but for this team to get turned around, they're going to have to get a player, one way or another, better than anybody they currently have on the roster if they want to get better.
Hey.
Yeah. We're all on the same page on making a run at Zion, by the way.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, he's a transformational player when he plays. Now, you know, and I understand the fans say, well, geez, you know, you're going to get him. Yeah. Well, if you're giving up, you know, what are you risking? Another 35 win
right.
Team, you know, I think the reward is worth the risk to some point. Now, you're not going to give up 5 first-round picks or anything like that, and I don't think you'd have to. And I don't know all the particulars, but yeah, those are the kind of you know. I think that's how you get better is to take risks on. They have to be calculated risk and some belief that a player would work better for you. That's all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I want to ask you a little more nuts and boltsy question. You know, Domas, one of the things he said today was we need a point guard. It reminds me of in the offseason, a lot of us looked at Phoenix and said, they need a point guard. They got a point guard. He was pretty good, but ultimately they had too many other problems. How much is that an issue for the Kings? And as you said, there's a lot of things going on, but how much would that help just bringing in a competent point guard?
Well, it would help. A competent point guard would help. A really good one would help a lot, you know. But I mean, I think there's guys out there that probably are primed to be really good. You know, just like a kid, like you pointed out, Ty Jerome in Cleveland.
Yeah.
That guy's ready to be a starting point guard. I mean, he's probably every bit as good as Josh Giddey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but he doesn't get a start because of Garland and Donovan Mitchell. I understand that. So for instance, and I mean, I think that's what the team has to identify, guys that they can get that are ready to be better than they've been. I kind of look at Miami, how they've got Davion Mitchell at the right time.
Yeah, they sure did.
You know,
Whitey's hurt by that one. He's
sure
like,
did.
yeah, Davion would be nice right about now.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's, you know, I think we'd all talked about, I'd always said he's kind of a version of Kyle Lowry. He didn't get good till his third team.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Bobby Jackson was his fourth team. I mean, you're supposed to, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're supposed to kind of know some of that when these guys are ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't all, you know, superstars click in right away, but most guys don't.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, what do you think as we continue the Zion conversation? I'm a firm believer of a new environment, a different culture, a different scenery can help basketball. Have you noticed that in your time? You know, just because a guy is one way in X team with X team, does it necessarily mean he'll be that way with your team? Or is it, you know, you are what you are?
Well, often I think the team that drafts a guy, there's so much pressure on him, you know, expectations in the city, and then if it doesn't happen right away, they're they're pretty quick to get down on them. And so, a change of scenery is often very good for those guys, to where now all of a sudden they can be judged differently. Not, he was picked 5th, so he's supposed to be this, or picked 9th, he's supposed to be that. And as opposed to, the next fan group and coaches and all that, they're just judging him on what can he do for us. And so I think that in many cases, I would say a majority of cases, most NBA players almost need a change of scenery after they've been drafted by a team.
Jerry, we know the best teams seem to have everybody on the same page. It seems like this organization has either been unable or unwilling to make that happen. We use that term culture, which typically is everybody from the top all the way down has the same goal and they're all working towards the same thing. In your experience, is it fair to say this organization has either been unwilling or unable to make that happen?
Well, so far, there's no question that, and you've heard me talk about, I've said the thing that I learned some years ago from Jack McCloskey, the GM of Pistons, and he told me how if you don't have a team off the floor, don't ever think you'll have a team on the floor. And I don't think the Kings have had a team off the floor consistently at all. Might have little brief snippets of it, but the stability is you want to have a stable franchise and great leadership, and it leads to great coaching and great playing, that sort of thing. And but the Kings franchise certainly hasn't had that. It's pretty clear you can't be changing front offices as regulars. The Kings do, coaches as they do, and so there's that. And then, of course, some of the trades haven't been the best, and like I told my guys at Kings Herald, I said the only thing I'd say about the year is that when you win 48 and you're a pretty young team, then you go to 46, then you go to 40 and you're not a young team anymore.
Yeah.
That's not the right direction, fellas. I hate to break news to you.
Hey, we got older and worse at the same time.
Yeah, older and worse, and and less cap space, and it's just like, how did this happen? Yeah. Well, it was a progression, but it's where they are now, and now they've whether what they do about it and how they go about it. Everybody says, well, blow it up. Well, yeah, it's easy to say, hard to do and do it wisely. It's like we talk about the Pistons now. Yeah, they're pretty solid. Yeah, but there's 5 years getting there.
Yeah.
And we don't, and you don't know if it's going to stay.
Right.
This time next year, they may be the same or slightly worse. Look at the Hawks from 3 or 4 years ago. They went to the Eastern Finals. Well, where are they now?
Yeah. Jerry, I remember Orlando after the Dwight Howard, 2019 went to the finals, and they decided to tear it down, and they had to do it over. They had to start the process over because they were okay, but the best they could get was to about 40 wins, and then they had to do it over again. So they had to start that process a second time, and before they ended up with where they are now.
Yeah, obviously you hope that it's going to go smooth or relatively smooth. Like Oklahoma City has done very well. They had a down period, but it wasn't terribly long between their really good runs. Utah used to be good at that, and I think that's always the key. Miami, they've had their really down periods, but they get back within 4 or 5 years, and that's probably, you could point to Pat Riley, I think, for that. I think the same way with San Antonio, Greg Popovich and company. Now they have made the playoffs in 4 or 5 years, and pretty soon, if they don't next year, they'll probably eyeball and pop, like what's going on here. You might follow Mike Malone.
Yeah.
Because at some point you get, the good franchises find ways to get back quicker. Let's put it that way. They're always going to go through stretches. Nobody gets to be good forever. The Celtics certainly haven't been. The Lakers have. Yeah. They've had periods where they weren't good, and weren't playoff teams. But they don't stay down there forever. And when they get good, they usually stay good longer. That's the other part of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, what do you make of Keegan Murray? Do you think he's being held back a little bit? Is there something there where we need to unleash him a little bit next season?
He reminds me of a quarterback who's had different coordinators every year or something.
You know, I agree with both of you. I mean, I do. I think he's a much better player and potentially than what we've seen. And I don't think this, you know, that the makeup of the team benefits him at all. And you know, like I say, it's one of those things. I think, you know, that don't want to blame DeMar DeRozan for everything because it's not fair, because he's really good and he's a really good player. But he, you know, he just wasn't what they needed, and I thought he would be, but he wasn't. It hasn't been, and it's, you know, it's one of those things that what they needed was clear to most of us. They didn't get it, and it kind of branched out in a lot of other ways and hurt. You know, in other words, like Keegan certainly probably took a step back in some ways, even though he's a lot more skilled today than he was 2 years ago. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Can we ask you on a more pleasant note, which of these first round series, and I know we're still figuring out the play in, but which of the first round series really has really caught your eye, Jared? I know they haven't started yet, but what are you most interested in?
I think the Nuggets and the Clippers.
Yes.
You know, I think that's going to be a great series, and you know, both teams are well. It's just going to be, you know, it's going to come down probably to a couple of shots, couple of plays, couple of calls, you know, that go one way or another. But yeah, I think that one's the one that intrigues me the most.
Mm-hmm. Some pretty good players in that series, Jerry.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, that's there again. I think we've pointed that out, that if you really want to be a good team, then you have to have a bunch of those guys.
Yeah, how about that? Isn't that a novel idea, right?
Well, you know, I was listening to you guys and some other people talking about, you know, this guy's, you know, could be a third best player on a good team, and I think the Kings, that's the good news and the bad news. They have several guys that could be the third best player. What they don't have is the best player.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know people like myself kind of attacking Domas a little, but Domas is really good. But he's good in unique ways, and if has to be your best player, well, it's not going to work very well.
So, Jerry, yeah, what I'm hearing then, Jerry, you're not trying to rip it down to the studs. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I don't know that you could. You know, I mean, unless, you know, I mean, I'm not sure that, quite honestly, that you have the assets to get enough back to do that. Unless you just want to win 12 games, if that's your goal. But I don't know where that goes. Because, I mean, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to do. I mean, I know fans would say, well, just trade everybody. Well, sometimes you can't trade everybody. And then and if all you can get is a bunch of second round picks, well, that's not going to lead to the future either.
Right.
So
yeah.
So I mean, that's always assuming, you know, that we'll trade, you know, this guy that we don't want for somebody that we really want. It's like, well, sometimes it works, but most of the time, the league knows the talent level. So, you know, it's where you are. I mean, you know, you look at the Bulls basically had DeRozan and Levine, both very gifted guys, and they basically end up about the same as they were without them.
Yeah, they sure did.
So I mean, and now where are they going? Well, I don't know. You know, I mean, there's no reason to believe that they're on a path to a championship contender. I mean, I don't want to sound too negative, but I mean, the point being, if you really want to contend for a championship, at some point you have to have a guy that's probably a top 5-10 player for sure in the league. And the Kings don't have that.
And they're hard to get.
Several players don't, or teams don't have that.
Yeah.
And they probably will fall short.
Yep.
Because of that.
Well, I know we'll talk to you again next week, but the Kings season is over. So just wanted to say thanks for all the information and wisdom you've shared with us, and fans just love it. The comments here, people just love hearing you, and we love talking to you. So for what it's worth, we really appreciate all that you've done for us all year, Coach.
Well, I sure appreciate you guys, the fans, and I apologize for being such a negative Nelly here, but I'm just down. I'm down. I'm too damned old to be down. I can't go through a 5-year rebuild. Okay.
Yeah. At least you'll always have, looking back on this year, it's like, that was terrible. Oh, that was awful. But I got to work with Kyle Draper on TV, right?
No, that was the highlight of this season, right?
Now, this is the sad part. Yeah, it probably was a highlight. That's a hell of a deal when that's the highlight of your whole year.
I see how it is, Jerry. We had people are still talking about that broadcast, man. It was so great.
We brought it to them, didn't we, Kyle?
We did. That was some good stuff that night. That was fun.
We'll talk.
Good. I feel better now just talking to you guys now after that.
There you go.
We'll see you, Jerry. I'll be in touch.
See you guys.
All right, take care. The highlight of last night, I said this when it happened. I turned to Christopher Law and I said, that's going to be your Kings playback of the game or whatever, was when the ball got stuck and they had the ball boy. So he handed the broom to Keegan.
Yeah,
Keegan got it down.
And he's crowd went wild over that. I felt bad for that ball boy, too. Like, soon as he came out, I'm like, he ain't going to be able to get that. That was the highlight. You're right.
Yeah. So there you go. That's all it takes. You just got to go out and get a top 5 player in the NBA. And Jerry Reynolds is all in, depending on the particulars, on Zion.
I am too. I'm all in on Zion at this point because I think his ceiling is so high. And to Jerry's point, what are we really risking? Another 35-win season, 40-win season? You know, it's depending on obviously what you have to give up. As long as you ain't got to give up 3 or 4 first rounders, I would pick up the phone in New Orleans. Call our boy Joe Dumars up, right? Joe Dumars. They got a relationship there.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So, looking at this team and thinking, wow, tweak here, tweak there. You're a 50-win team. I just don't think that's an accurate assessment of what the Kings have working for them. And, as fans, we always get we have a tendency anyway to get carried away with our own players. They're all a little better maybe to fans of the team than they actually are. And I think maybe we've been guilty of that, and maybe ownership's been guilty of that too with this current roster.
Yeah, I don't know if fans feel that way right now, though. I think like everybody's like, this roster sucks, right? Everybody's down on this roster right now. What we got coming up?
Coming up, we're going to look at the most impressive thing on Scott Perry's resume. But at the same time, we are not, shirking our responsibilities, nor are we turning a blind eye to what a debacle the season and last night was. So we're rolling on with that. Drive Guys here next on Sacktown Sports.
Breaking: the Sacramento Kings and Scott Perry have finalized a deal for him to become the next GM of the Kings. Keep it here for up-to-date breaking Sacramento Kings news. Sacktown Sports 1140.
I told you what happened there. Right after Christmas, our heater collapsed and we were just freezing cold for a long time. And so we need a new HVAC. And there's so many of them out there. Jose, our boss here, he said, you should check out Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating at leesair.com. And it was great advice. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. They came out the day we called. They're ready to. We didn't need them to, but they're like, we'll be right there. No, we're okay. We'll see you in a couple days. Treated us with respect. So it comes down to why would you choose Lee's? They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee, 4.8 stars on Google. So a lot of friends are recommending Lee's Air Heating and Plumbing. They've won awards for their service. They've spent more than 40 years serving the Valley's HVAC heating and plumbing needs, and you can trust Lee's. That's why you should contact Lee's. You can trust them with installation and repair of your AC, furnace, and water heater, plus residential and commercial plumbing repair, commercial HVAC services too. Find out more at leesair.com. Make sure you're ready for the hot weather that's nearly upon us. Check on their $99 HVAC tune-up service. And you want to let Lee's take care of you the way they took care of me. They treated us like family. They set us up with an HVAC system that has improved our quality of life and has improved the air that we breathe. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. License number 635355.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. More low clouds and fog move in Thursday night into Friday morning. They'll clear out faster. Morning temperatures in the low 50s, afternoon highs near 80. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. For the A's, pitcher Michel Otanez has resumed throwing from a distance up to 90 feet and could return sometime in mid-April. Brady Basso, out with that left shoulder strain, has been transferred from the 15-day injured list to the 60-day injured list. On the court, Malik Monk has been diagnosed with a left calf strain and will be reevaluated in 14 days, which means he'll miss the rest of the season and the play-in. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group.
Hi, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th, with Diamond Pacific Supply and Trex, Michelob Ultra, and Carl's Jr. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
We're super excited to announce that the new Truck Center is now open at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And it's easy to find from anywhere. They're centrally located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. At Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, you never have to sacrifice great service to get a good deal. They make sure you're treated the way you deserve to be treated. Showing time and time again that Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's the place where a handshake still means something. I mean, that's the reason why people are coming from all over town. Elk Grove, Folsom, Woodland, Roseville. Stop on in and experience the difference for yourself.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? an unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Grab the keys to a new Toyota. From city streets to open highways, Toyota's legendary reliability is built for every road ahead. Right now, get a low-cost lease on a versatile 2025 RAV4 hybrid. Or shop the industry's best lineup of hybrid SUVs with a 2025 Grand Highlander hybrid and stylish 2025 Toyota Crown Signia. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Offers end 4/30/25.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
The season ended. The Beam Team era ended. The Beam will be around for a long time, but that Beam Team era with Monte McNair, it fell apart in pieces this year with first Mike Brown let go, De'Aaron Fox traded, and Monte McNair let go today. It's unfortunate. But we move onward and upward. Hopefully, Scott Perry back running the show for the Kings. That was announced today. Here, I think, is one of the most encouraging things about Scott Perry. Now, I know we just talked to Jerry Reynolds, who said, you got to have some of the best players to win a championship. That's true. There are exceptions, but it is true. However, we know that the Pistons in 2004 didn't have stars, and they beat, of course, that famous Laker team. And Scott Perry was a member of the front office. He assisted in building the Pistons roster that went to 6 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, 2 Eastern Conference championships, and that 2004 NBA championship. Joe Dumars was the president, but Scott Perry helped with that. So if you want to have a guy put your roster together who has experience competing for championships without necessarily the biggest stars. That said, of course, it would be better if the Kings can find a way to go out and get some of the, or even one of the biggest star stripes.
Yeah, I mean, ideally that's what you want, right? But, the thing I like about Scott Perry and what I'm hearing is, one, his relationships, talent evaluation. He was the one that sort of started spearheading that Knicks rebuild out there before he was let go. And so I like it. And the thing I like too, it seems like he's a grown-up. Like you got a level-headed, sensible, person in the room making these decisions, And so I guarantee when it comes to the front office, how we looked at Monte and Wes and who was making the decision, I think it'll lay in the foot of Scott Perry. Like, he'll be the guy making the decision as long as the owner doesn't meddle in. But I don't think an assistant GM or anything like that is going to be dictating the voice and the path of the Sacramento Kings.
We know that, and our buddy Slate's kind of hinted at this when he joined us yesterday. According to reporting, it looks like the Kings, through various channels, are letting it be known that Lavia is unlikely to get any official title. And it looks like he's going to be some kind of advisor, and that's why he's around Vivek a lot. And I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's good or it's bad. But Sam and Anthony followed up on that, I believe, in their story today in The Athletic. So it looks like Lavia, a lot of people were wondering, is Lavia going to be the GM, assistant GM? It appears that what the Kings are telling people is he may be an influencer, if you will, but he's not going to have an official title. So then what happens to Doug Christie? To me, it sounds like if this has been in the works for a while, Jerry Reynolds alluded to the fact that it happened so fast. Season ends, boom. GM gone, boom. Next GM, boom. So I think they've been working on this for a while, and I think Slate's also said that yesterday as well. So I think there's a really good chance that Doug Christie is retained.
You think?
Give me a number.
Yeah.
Give me a number.
Like, how likely?
Yeah, give me a percentage, I should say.
9.8.
Really? Out of 10?
Yeah.
Damn,
Whitey.
Whitey.
I think Vivek likes him.
You
I think
must know
Vlade likes
something,
him. And I think, I think Scott Perry, the way it's been going here, I think they've probably, I think he's going to be back. I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's volatile. The situation is volatile, fellas.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Like, you would think if Vivek wanted, if Vlade, they would have a discussion about Doug prior to him agreeing to become,
I think so.
Hey, we want to keep Doug
as
read
head
on coach.
Yeah. Could be wrong, but that's my read.
Yeah, I hope Doug gets another shot, a real shot at it, because, and he's talked about it, I can't think of a coach that's had to deal with this kind of turmoil and mess. I mean, everybody that was anybody is gone now from the organization. Fox, Brown, Wes, Monte. Like, it's like, how do you deal with all that turmoil and try to put together a winning team?
Yeah.
And so, and I'll give the players just a little grace. I know they're making millions and you got to show up. But they clearly felt the dysfunction going on. And I do believe it had an impact. Not the greatest, it wasn't the sole reason, but I do believe it had an impact. Like, when it's hard to go out there and lay it all on your line for your employer when your employer shows a dysfunctional work environment. That's tough. That's tough.
If a player were to say that, like, well, we didn't play well because of that, then that's like, well, you're making excuses. But for us, observing it, to say, wow, whenever something was going on with this team, they started playing poorly.
Right.
I mean, you can't help but notice it.
Right. It's yeah. And so hopefully Scott comes in and just, I'll go back a few years ago, guys, before Mike Brown got hired. Somebody behind the scenes, and I've told this story, said, Kyle, you wouldn't believe how much of a blank show it was. SH show it was.
Yeah, I got you.
And I just making sure. And I thought with Mike Brown, things got so much better. Like, everybody was on the same page. Mike Brown was the voice. Like, you could feel it. And then now, less than 2 years later, it went back to a blank show. Like, it's like we can't have nice things. As soon as things start going good, something happens. And like you just said, it's even this season. You go on a 7-game win streak, thinking things have turned around. Now De'Aaron Fox wants out. That comes out, and that derails everything. Well, what you got? You got
good
something?
News on that front. Well, it's not breaking news or anything, but you reminded me of this, and I know you've seen this. Pete Youngman, who was with the Kings for a long time and very professional. Pete Youngman on X, when responding to Sam Amick's news that Scott Perry was being hired, Pete Youngman said he brought a sense of basketball
normalcy to an absolutely dysfunctional mess in his brief stay in 2017. If they let him do his job, keep the voices away that don't belong in the room, he will do an outstanding job. Excellent basketball man, excellent hire. Pete Youngman.
That's Pete Youngman.
Yes.
No dog in the fight, really. You know, I know he used to work for the organization, but for him to have that kind of respect, and he's a guy that knows the inner workings of the organization, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Pete Youngman's not a guy who's going to go out of his way to say things that cast the Kings in a favorable light.
Yes.
Mark J. Spears, great hire for the Kings. Scott made a strong impact in a short time there, has over 20 years of experience, has a great eye for talent, has always had a solid connection with ownership. Players respect him, which should help the Kings with their current notables. Yeah, you got Sam today on Carmichael Dave's show said you go into the locker room and you got all the players in there with their agents and they're all like wondering what's going on. So Scott Perry's a guy with the experience to successfully navigate all of that.
And I will say too, I think part of the job is learning how to schmooze, how to network, how to be, and I don't know how good our guys were at that. Like, to me, it seems like Scott Perry, very well connected, knows everybody, has a connection with everybody, can pick up the phone and call everybody. And so I think that's important also.
Yeah. And he worked for James Dolan for a number of years and kept his job.
Yeah, right. You're right. And he helped, like I said, start to turn that Knicks franchise around. So I think that's a good move, man.
It sounds like it. At the same time, obviously, that doesn't, make the pain go away of this really disappointing season that we're going to be digging out from under for a while. But it's going to be, I think, for better or worse, a very eventful offseason. I think it's going to be a lot popping this summer.
And here's the thing, too. Like, I expect, once it becomes finalized, we'll hear from Scott next week. And he has a to-do list, man. Like, I think you'll see, things happen. You got the draft, the lottery, and everything like that. What if the Kings? Can you imagine that, Whitey? Scott Perry comes, and all of a sudden our fortunes change and everything.
I'm trying to.
We get a top 3 pick or something. Oh, dude, they might have to erect a statue of Scott Perry just off of that.
Just getting a pick,
dog. Seriously. I'm maybe I'm Mr. Positive or something like that, but I could, man, I can only dream.
And I know, Jay, we got to take a quick time out.
Yeah.
But, you had Dave Yeager here, and they won 39 games. Then he was gone. Before the next season even started.
It's like we sabotaging ourselves for success. Like we having some success. We don't deserve it. Let's change it. Yeah.
Dave Yeager with Luke Walton. We get Luke Walton. When we come back, one NBA owner today went before the media and the fans and said, yeah, my bad. Next, Sacktown Sports.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
definitely see myself back here in Sac. I really enjoyed Doug as the head coach. So him getting that job would, I would enjoy that, and I could definitely see myself back here. I really enjoyed the fan base. I've only played for one other team, but Sacramento really, welcomed me with open arms when I first got here, and like I said earlier, I thought this was a very beneficial move for me, and I thought it played out pretty well.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Jake Lavia, he made a really nice comeback from one of the most underwhelming introductory press conferences ever. I think they introduced him and Jonas the same day. And, Jonas is full of personalities, but that press conference was one of the shortest ever. They just didn't want to talk.
You like it?
Remember?
I liked it.
Did you?
I liked the fact because he was like, I ain't trying to talk about none of that. I'm here to play ball. Like, bro, he said that twice. He was like, yeah, I'm cool with all the, the pomp and circumstance. I'm here to play ball. So that's what you're going to get is me playing ball. He was straight to the point with it.
Yeah, he was definitely straight to the point. And I maybe beloved is too strong of a word, but certainly a fan favorite. Unfortunate that he.
What do you want him to say?
Just there was.
What are you looking for at press conferences?
I'll be honest. It was a boring press conference. I remember we talked about it. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And it doesn't matter, but it was kind of wow. Remember how quickly they wrapped it up?
Yeah, it was quick.
I think
it
we
was
were
like,
I do remember what happened? They're done. That's what
I remember
happened.
you looked at me like, "Are we done?" It was that.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
If he's serious, there is a way. But then what? He would have to. He'd have to opt out, and then the Kings would have to offer him a better deal, and then is that what it would be?
Yeah, you sign him to a 2-year deal, a 1-and-1 basically.
Yeah.
He plays out the one, opts out, and then they re-sign him. We'll see if Scott Perry thinks that same way as the previous regime. I know that was, their hope is that, they'd be able to retain Jake in that way. So.
We're going to tell you about the NBA owner who today came forward and said, look.
What you got for me?
Blew it. My bad. Before we get to that, it's time for Check It.
Oh, shoot.
With TC. What's up, TC?
Mike check. Hey, what's up with my big dog?
Oh, we need you today, TC. Got dauber down a little bit today around here.
Hey, listen, we did. So let's start off first and foremost, bro. We in a better position with Scott Perry. Scott Perry gonna come in and do his thing, man. Don't worry about it, man. Fox, Durant, Aaron Gordon, like Oladipo, like over there with kids, New York, coming back. He worked good. I mean, we was here for a good fit. But, I mean, for some reason, him and Bobby worked together. They was able to draft Fox and get it together, and he was able to move on. So I think Scott gonna come in. Actually, I know Scott gonna come in and do his thing. And Doug is the guy. Scott and Doug gonna work good together, bro. I'm gonna say it now. Doug's gonna be the coach, and they're gonna work good together. As far as the guys that's staying, I heard what I needed to hear. I know it was a boring press conference, right? But I heard from the guys. Look, I'm all in. I'm here. Jake, I'm here. Keon, I'm here. Everybody else, bro, I really don't care about, bro. You know what I mean? Everybody else is on the block. You're going to be in, you're going to be in. If not, hey, what the legends say, it's time for a drastic move. We was talking about Zion. So if that means Domas, Jamal, you automatically going, I'm ready to move Zach. Them 3 pieces, bro, is on the trade block, like right now. We are trying to make it work or none of that, bro. Y'all got to go, and we finna move forward with these pieces we got as far as Jake, Keon, and Monk, and Devin. Even you can throw Devin in there. Other than that, bro, everybody is on the block, bro, and we moving forward. Oh, did I miss Valanciunas? He can stay too, bro. Other than that, that's all I got, bro. But Scott Perry finna come in and do his thing, bro. I'm not even worried about it. I'm not mad at all.
Did you say Domas too?
Yeah, he on a trading block, bro. I don't care about none of that clarity. Your clarity was Doug Christie, bro. You laid down on him last night, dog. I don't want to hear about none of that, dude. You keep laying down on the biggest games, dude. I don't care about none of that, bro. I'm over it. You on a trading block, bro. Seriously.
Thank you, TC.
Yeah.
All right, TC. Damn, check it.
Come on, Draper. You knew he didn't say that. Why you put?
No, I'm just.
Yeah.
He was rattling off names, and I wasn't sure if he said Domas or not. He was rattling off names.
One of the worries with Scott Perry is, A, is can he make solid decisions? Draft record in New York was a little spotty, right?
Spotty, a couple of guys I like, though.
Sure,
First team all Drapers. But
yeah.
Okay.
First team all Drapers. Wow.
I'm a big RJ Barrett fan. I'm a huge RJ Barrett fan.
Yeah.
We played lights out this year in Toronto. I love RJ Barrett. Yeah.
And then the other concern is, was he going to be allowed to actually run the team? And we'll find out about that. Meanwhile, Suns owner Matt Ishbia. He said it was in January. He's watching the team, and he came to an unmistakable conclusion. He had a very strong dislike for the high-priced product his leadership had put on the court. He said, embarrassing season, right? Disappointing, awful. He met with the media today. I watch every game like all you guys do. No one's proud of it. No one's happy with it. From me to the front office to the coaches and players to the marketing executives to the security guards, it was a failure.
Yes, it was.
It definitely was.
100%.
36-46. I want to put a team out there on the court that everyone is proud of. It has to have an identity similar to Phoenix, some grit, some determination, some work ethic, some grind, some joy. We just haven't had that. I know you said Stephen A. called him a guy who's on the verge of being the worst owner in sports.
Yes.
I would never agree with that for this reason. If I'm rooting for any team, even if the owner he's not making smart moves, if he's trying to win and spending a lot of money to do it, I applaud him.
Right.
Like, all right, keep at it. You were wrong, but how can you not be behind an owner who spends a lot of money in an effort to win?
Right.
There are not very many of those guys around.
And to me, that's the kind of owner I want.
Yes.
Money be damned. Whatever it takes, we're going to do. And 100%. And, the coaching fires that he did and everything, he's searching, right? He's trying to correct it.
Yeah.
But, some of the things he said today, and I watched part of that press conference. I thought,
tell me, I didn't.
You didn't see it? Oh, no,
just reading about it.
Yeah, I was going to send Jay the clip of it. I mean, he sounded, because he responded to Stephen A. and basically said, "How can I be considered one of the worst owners when I lowered prices for my fans? I invested millions in the Phoenix Mercury. He's at $100 million practice facility for the Phoenix Mercury. I invested in the Phoenix community. I made all our games free over the air on TV." He said, yes, part of my job is putting a winning product on the court. But when you start calling somebody the worst owner ever, there's been a lot of bad Donald Sterling, smart shot. And so he said, he said,
John Fisher.
Oh, he said,
winner.
I'm sure Stephen A. is going to call me and apologize because there's no way he could really think that, And so I actually agree with Matt Ishbia today. That's taking it a little too far.
Right. The problem is it's going to be tough for them given their assets and how far into the cap and the apron and everything they are. It's going to be hard to build around Devin Booker, about whom Ishbia says he's the franchise player. He's done amazing things. I speak with him and we're very aligned with what we want to do. His mission and my mission are very similar. Let's bring a championship to Phoenix, end quote. But it's hard when you keep spending and spending and spending and that doesn't work. You have to try a different approach. You can't spend anymore.
Right. And that's the same thing that happened in Brooklyn, too, with Mikhail Prokhorov. Years ago, it was like, I'm going to come in and make this big splash trade for KG and Paul Pierce, and we're going to be champions. And it flamed out.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts. And so, but like you said, to start the segment, if he's offering a blank check, that's all I need from an owner, Whatever you need, whatever the players need, whatever the coaches, we're going to run a first-class organization. Whatever you need, you guys got.
Here's part of the problem for them. Bradley Beal's 31, three-time All-Star. Bradley Beal has 2 more years on a contract that pays him more than $50 million a year.
The worst contract in the NBA right now.
His production has not been that good. So how are you going to get rid of him?
No trade clause, too. You're not.
Buy him out.
Yeah, that's $100 million you're talking about, Jay.
Hey, man, we talking about billionaires here, brother. But no, in all seriousness, someone has to come to Bradley and Players Association, the union. They're going to say no way. But I think you got to get close to it. Let me give you this 85 up front right now.
I don't know what the rules are on that. I see where you're going, but I don't even know if you can do that.
Yeah, I don't
they
think
do have they have the stretch
provision. Yeah. Stretch that $100 million over like 6 years or something like that.
But you got buyouts. It happens all the time throughout trade.
But
trade season.
Usually it ain't a buyout of $100 million, Jay.
That's because most people don't want to pay $100 million up front, you know?
And if you're Bradley Beal, why would you do that? Like
freedom?
Yeah, I guess. And then go re-sign
somewhere else. Yeah. There's what money makes ways for anything. I think we can all agree on that. But I think if you want to, do something crazy, you're gonna have to pony up a lot of money if you're Matt Ishbia.
And he'll be looking for another coach. This will be their 4th coach in 4 seasons.
So we're not alone.
Right. But when you look at it, and I was talking to some people in the organization, the guy they miss is Frank Vogel, not Monte Williams. Monte sort of flamed out. Obviously, Budenholzer had his issues. But why the hell Frank Vogel get fired? Frank Vogel.
Because they thought Budenholzer. Ooh.
Yeah.
Vogel's available, right? Bring him back.
Right? And so, and I would say, too, Kevin Durant might not make it easy.
You know who's a leading candidate for that job, all kidding aside?
Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Our good friend Mike Brown. That would be a good move for him, I think. With that talent.
Oh, then every time the Kings play the Suns, there will be all the Mike Brown drama.
Yeah. It's going to happen, Whitey.
Oh, I know.
It's going to happen.
I know. When we come back, we have some good news for Kings fans. Actually really good news. And also, how about Malik laughing last night? Oh, no.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
this Jay's favorite topic.
What's going on next? Sacktown Sports.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can stand, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can stand, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. For the A's, pitcher Michel Otanez has resumed throwing from a distance up to 90 feet and could return sometime in mid-April. Brady Basso, out with that left shoulder strain, has been transferred from the 15-day injured list to the 60-day injured list. On the court, Malik Monk has been diagnosed with a left calf strain and will be reevaluated in 14 days, which means he'll miss the rest of the season and the play-in. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group.
Hi, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
What up, fellow Gen Xers? Elizabeth Banks here. As the original Latchkey kids, we took things into our own hands, like house keys and video game controllers. And now it's time for us to do it again, because the recommended age to get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. We're at over 6 times greater risk compared to adults under 50. So go to vaxassist.com and schedule. Gen X, this is our shot. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. SubcontractorsUnited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
The locker room was great. Guys welcomed me really warm. I was happy here. Hopefully I'm going to continue to be a Sacramento King, and we'll see where this summer can take us.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Jonas Valanciunas today, after his exit interview, a meeting with the media. I guess for a lot of these players, everything's changed. Maybe some of the players last night before the game caught wind that there's going to be a new GM in town, and maybe that affected their play. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're human beings. They get paid a lot of money, but they're human beings. I have no idea. I do know this. This was good news. I think it's good news for Kings fans, and maybe you heard this. Last night after the game, the G-Man did kind of a retrospective, which was, very bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's very gracious and thanking his crew and everything, and he talked about how much he's looking forward to being back next year.
It will be lit in Sacramento.
And that, as he talked, I realized I was starting to get a little.
You thought it might be an announcement there, huh?
Yeah,
that
he's looking forward to next year.
G-Man loves it, man.
I know.
He's still going strong, too, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I can't wait. Yeah, he deserves to see this turned around.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves to see. It's like Mike Gorman in Boston. He went out with a championship.
Wow.
His last. Think about that. G-Man deserves a few playoffs years coming forward with these Kings.
Mm-hmm.
How old is G-Man? 81?
84, I believe.
84, dang.
Yeah.
Oof.
Which you would not know if you spend any time
Right.
with him. It's like, nah, he's not 84.
Nah.
Yeah.
And the thing about G-Man, he not just holed up in his hotel room when we get to a city.
Yeah.
He out exploring. He going to the mom and pop restaurants and everything. He's active out there.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. So that was good news. I don't know if this is good news, but the A's who play in Sacramento won today. Can't call them the Sacramento A's. They're what are they, 9-10 now, Jay?
Okay.
The A's who play in Sacramento are a game under 500.
Shouts out to the A's.
Yeah. Beat the White Sox.
I think we could get out there.
Tyler Soderstrom with 9 home runs now.
Yeah,
Boom.
doing his thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look at the standings real quick. How are we doing looking in the standings?
I got a rookie
Ahead of Houston.
refractor.
I'll take that.
You'll take it?
Ahead of Houston?
Houston's supposed to be down this year.
Nah,
though,
but
Trey.
it's still Houston, though. Everybody hates Houston.
Well,
You know
that is true. That is
Everybody
true.
hates Houston.
That is true. I'll give you that.
What were you saying?
I got a rookie Tyler Soderstrom refractor.
I know because
Sell it.
Yes, I remember when you got that.
Yeah, and it's I think it's I will. Don't let it jump up now. I like some of these people. I ain't holding on to nothing. I think it's numbered to 100, and I want to say it's 99 of 100.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
I think I might have given that to you, and I didn't know it was numbered.
No. That's
Okay.
not the one you giving me. This
Oh, okay.
is
Glad
this
he's
is
like,
another.
darn it.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Did you sell your $3 rookie
Max Christie?
Max Christie? Did
Sold
you sell
Max, yeah.
for $3?
I countered, and then the guy had written a note. He said, "Hey, this is a cool card. I'm just starting my collection."
Oh,
I was
he's
like,
soft.
"All right, that's $3. Okay, $3."
God, man.
And he
Come
probably
on.
he probably played me.
He did.
He's
I
probably
was getting
selling
ready
it
to
right
say
now
something, but that would have been bad.
Oh.
Come on, general manager.
Yeah, he probably sold it for like
What'd you say? The Fox negotiations here?
he probably sold for
That's
like
messed up.
$19 or something. Hey, he's probably got a separate account. I'm just starting my collection.
Is
Cool
that all
card.
it takes? Is that all? All right, I'm going to have to use that line.
Jay, I understand you have a reaction. I'm not sure which way you fall on this, but a lot of people were upset last night during the telecast to see 103-85, Dallas leading the Kings, 8:57 left in the fourth quarter, and there on the bench next to a very stern-looking Valanciunas was Malik Monk, and he was cracking up.
Just dying out there.
Yeah. Jack on X said, here it is. At Styles Files sent that to Alan Styles. Malik was just laughing. Some people had a hard time with it. Jack says, Malik Monk laughing really irritates me, man. And I believe Mr. Styles felt the same way about it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Styles was like, I got to talk about this on the show. So,
he's fired up.
Yeah, he was fired up, man. Malik, our squad getting their brains beat out, and Malik's over there cracking up. How you feel about that?
One fan wrote, Malik Monk could care less. He gets his bag in an early trip to Cancun. Gross behavior. It's also insulting to Jonas, who is actually playing and trying to win for his team. 100% just a bad look and bleep me off in the moment. Shows there's no team dynamics in this Sacramento Kings. Blow it up, a third fan exclaimed. Jay says,
yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it like that, fellas. I'm going to keep it real. You don't know what was going on at the point in time. You don't know what he was talking about. You don't know what the fans were. What him and his compadres, teammates, they could have been talking about anything. You just don't know. And I understand the camera panned over to Malik at that point in time, but we don't know what was going on. We don't know what was said. And honestly, and I thought about this, I haven't seen anybody ask Malik this, but I thought if you came out and asked Malik that earlier today during his exit interviews, and they may have, I haven't seen all of Malik's press conferences, exit press conference. I think Malik could have just said, hey, listen, life is life. Understandable. Some fans were upset that I got caught laughing at the time, but it could have been, me and my brothers here on the bench were sitting here having a conversation and something else. The other part of that too, though, is this: when it's really all said and done, and this is the toughest part, and I know I'm gonna take some smoke, some heat, because I'm always the type of person that say I'm trying to go win a championship and I'm trying to, tighten up and really bring the sauce. It is he is not a part of the game, and as much as his team is struggling, and I'm pretty sure I've been right there. Drapes, you could talk about it. I've literally sat next to Malik multiple times when he has not been playing. Matter of fact, One of the games I remember he had the little Prince coat, and I was like, man, that's dope, Malik. And we were literally having a conversation during the timeout.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't talking about nothing about the game. I was just admiring the coat that he had, and I gave him some love, and he laughed. Were they losing? Probably, maybe. I don't know. Right. Is he supposed to take some heat because I talked about his coat and congratulated him on the coat? So I just think sometimes things are overblown. I get it. We don't know what they were talking about.
Right. It reminds me, years ago, there was a quarterback. Remember Derek Anderson?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Oregon State.
Yeah. He was, I think he was playing for Arizona, and it was a game, and I think his team was losing. He was just on the sideline, and the camera on Monday Night Football shows him, and he's laughing, and people went nuts. It's like, howdy.
So I think he's supposed to cry.
I don't know. It's not a good look. I'm sure if Malik, I don't know. Maybe Malik wouldn't care. It's not a good look, but I mean, come on. It's all right. Isn't it, Drapes?
Yes, it's unfortunate because, to Jay's point, who knows what they were talking about? And, Jay and I talked about this earlier. People react in different ways to, who knows? He might have been so sad, so upset, I'm gonna just laugh it off, or as a way to hide my frustration and sadness and everything. What you got there, Wade?
Well, I was just gonna show
me the video.
It looks like Lavia, somebody said something back here.
Lavia got a little smile going.
Terrence Davis maybe said something, I don't know, and Laravia's smiling, and then Malik was just laughing. Jonas is not laughing, but Malik Monk cares.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, we can't have Malik here for 3 years and call him the heart and soul of our team, and we need more guys like Malik, and then we see this. Oh, he's checked out. He doesn't care. It doesn't go that way.
Right.
King of the Kings.
Yeah, right,
exactly.
Right. But you know how fans are. There are some fans that they're having a hard time. They had a hard time watching that game. They're still having a hard time now, and it's hard for them to understand. Why is a player who's on the team laugh about it at the time?
What's the expression I heard from? I laugh from, what is it?
Yeah.
I laugh so I don't cry.
Yeah,
something of that
like
nature,
that.
right? Yeah. I mean, as Drape said, you just never know how a person's going to handle it. And it's just, I will say this, and I thought this was a little interesting and funny. Right. Bad job by the damn camera person. Why would you even go that way? Like, knowing knowing the situation.
Maybe they did that on purpose. Look at this.
You gotta be sharper, though. Be sharper. Come on now. Keep that in-house. That's part of the issue with the Kings. Even our camera person is showing bad business. No, I'm just saying, though. Like, literally, we could help our own selves. It just feels like everything went wrong for the Kings, and that was part of it. You know?
How about this? 530. Styles said he was cackling like a hyena, and it really irritated him.
I don't know, man. Whatever.
Styles. Styles is a college baseball player. You know, he understands all
cackling
that.
Like a hyena over there.
I got it. But I'll say this: we ain't all won before, and believe me, is there's been plenty of times, and maybe you guys can, adhere to this. There's been plenty of times where I thought I was going to go in and lost, and you know what? You're just like, what else can I do? There's no need for me to be upset. I did what I was supposed to do. I gave it my all. We got our ass kicked, and I'm just going to laugh about it. Or, I'm just going to have to live with it. And as Drake said, people handle it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also possible that whoever said something, it was really funny. I mean,
right.
It might have been really funny.
It's like, oh, I can't laugh. Let me cover it up or something like that. Come on.
Bad job by the camera folks.
Hold on real quick.
Yes.
Don't say that, Jay. Kings fan Dan says, JJ, don't blame the camera guy.
Why not?
It's the director staying on the shot too long.
Ooh.
Roe wouldn't have done that. Roe Dawes, our producer at NBC.
Listen, man, you got some ties to that. I don't want to fire it up too much.
Yeah. I just say, Kings
it is
fan
that
Dan.
way though, and 100%. Producer could say stick there, you know.
Yeah.
Camera person can stick there. You're right. I'm correct.
Take camera too.
Absolutely.
Camera too.
Yeah.
Key grip. I don't know. I'm just
you're just shouting out terms now. Huh?
No
Key grip.
Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz. You ready for that, Jay?
Sure, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I know sometimes you're busy.
Oh no, I'm good.
Are you good today?
Yeah, Drapes is down in the dumpster.
Oh.
I don't think his mind is even operating. Matter of fact, it's 5:40. Drapes is already thinking what he's having for dinner.
As soon as we go to commercial,
right.
I'm starting to unplug my laptop, throw away my trash. I'm almost out of here, bro.
We go back in time, back through the mists of time. Next, Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Northwest Exteriors.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. More low clouds and fog move in Thursday night into Friday morning. They'll clear out faster. Morning temperatures in the low 50s, afternoon highs near 80. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA.
To keep you cool all season long. Trusted in Sacramento for heating and cooling systems. Book your tune-up today as part of our 30th anniversary special. Call 888-TRUST-NW or visit trustnorthwest.com.
Simply the best. Trust Northwest.
Well.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between it.
Here we are again, talking about my garage door. I like to talk about my garage door. When everything's on the line, you need a big-time closer. And that is especially true when it comes, of course, to your garage door with the opening and the closing. That's why I proudly recommend National Garage Door. Why do you hear for National Garage Door? Whether you're looking to repair an existing door, get a brand new one installed, just get someone to come out and figure out why your garage door is making such a racket, you need National Garage Door. They're family-owned and operated. Wonderful family. They've been around since 1974. As far as the business goes. The family's been around longer than that because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSC, the Broken Spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors are going to amaze you. Really impressive stuff. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales. They offer service. They offer installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. I'm surprised how many people have asked me about, hey, do they do commercial doors? Yes, they do. If you have a garage door or if you have garage door needs, old one's coming apart, you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 916-638-4554. That's National Garage Door. Ding.
Grab the keys to a new fuel-efficient Toyota. More miles, fewer fill-ups. Toyota hybrids are built to go the distance with legendary dependability and head-turning style. Get a low-cost lease on a new 2025 Prius or shop deals on 17 Toyota hybrid models from the longest-lasting brand on the road. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care. 2 years of complimentary maintenance. Toyota. Let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Offers end 4/30/25.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Have you heard? Kohl's has 2 exclusive new home brands, Miriana and Mingle & Co. From luxe favorites that are all about turning your space into a sanctuary to fun mix and match dining essentials, there's so much to discover, and trust me, you're gonna love everything. Plus, you can get an extra 15% off throughout the store and earn Kohl's Cash. So hurry to Kohl's today and bring it home for less. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offer ends April 19th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
The Napoleon Stainless Steel Prestige 500 connected propane grill with infrared side and rear burner is a dynamic evolution in grilling. Featuring Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, it brings you closer to your grilling experience than ever before. The Napoleon Connected lets you monitor temperatures, set timers, and receive high temp warnings all from your smartphone. With temperature probes and LCD display, you'll always know exactly what's happening inside your grill. Napoleon's LED control knobs even illuminate for nighttime, entertaining and feature safety glow. Napoleon Grills. Simply the best.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz is just moments away. First, Steve has been hanging on here, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's see what's up with Steve. Thanks for hanging, Steve. What can the Drive Guys do for you?
Yeah, just answer a question for me. I don't understand for the life of me why Vivek would want Vlade to be giving him any advice. Because, I mean, if you look at the portfolio of bad decisions this guy made, first, go back to 2018, the most obvious one, Luka Doncic. He takes Marvin Bagley III over Luka with the third. I mean, that's crazy, right? And at the time, he said, well, it was all about team chemistry, Fox, Marvin Bagley versus Fox, Doncic, because the team chemistry, and he would work better as Fox was going to assume the mantle of leadership. But the reality is Doncic was known to be versatile. He was known to be versatile, and that was never going to be an issue. So he would have blended with Fox. So, and then Dave Yeager at the time, who he fired subsequently, was saying, no, take Doncic. She's going to be much better. And I think the coach at the time, he would know how to put that team together. And granted, it's ultimately the GM's decision, not his, but that was poor.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes and signs Papagiannis in 2016. That was bad. George Hill, he gave $57 million to for 3 years. What do you do with that? Zach Randolph, $24 million for 2 years. The list goes on. He fires Dave Yeager, and I don't know, but I think as far as Vivek, it's great. I mean, he's. I mean, the last thing you don't want is him to sell a team to an owner that might move the Kings out. Now they got a new arena, that may be tougher to do. But one of the things you have to ask yourself is when they change their coaches, and they've let some bad coaches go. I mean, Mike Malone, they let go. Mike Brown, they let go. Maybe Vivek's got a thing with coaches with a first name Mike. I don't know. But I'd love to hear back to land the plane your take on why he would want Vlade's input when he was fired as the GM previously, especially given all the poor decisions he made.
Good question, Steve. And we know, or we think we know, Vlade's probably not going to get any official title. That's been reported. A lot of people are wondering why you fire the guy. Now he's going to be assistant GM or GM. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But as far as the answer to your question, here's Kyle Draper.
Oh, you put me on the spot? I thought you were answering that, and then we were good to go. No comment. Next question.
KD.
You put me on the spot like that, man. Come on now.
Well, I want to make sure you hadn't completely checked out.
I'm checked
Steve,
out, man.
yeah, it's a fair question. We didn't know exactly how much or what kind of advice he's given him, but he's not going to have an official title.
Yeah.
It's a great question. Oh, wait, that's the guy you fired, and now, so I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more about what kind of advice exactly Vivek's getting from Vlade this summer. Right now, and thank you for listening. Right now, it's time for Whitey's Wayback Machine Quiz for April the 17th. It's brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We just had a couple days ago play-in match in the quiz, and it was it was Anthony against Brendan. We had a flat-out tie.
Yeah, my boy Anthony rallied at the end. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, fellas, Drapes, you may agree with this. We're looking at a pair of 16s.
I know, right? Those they to play in tournament on Tuesday in Dayton.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
Did you see? Well, I think did you send it, Jay, or did you, Drapes?
What was that?
The play-in, the tickets.
Yeah, I said that too. Yeah.
Dallas and Memphis.
What, $9?
$9 for tickets.
Right. Memphis, damn.
Yeah.
We had standing room onlys for $75.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Kings. Fans.
Yeah. Drapes, you're up first here.
Yeah,
Here's what we have for you. This is brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. 1968, 1976, 1979, 1982, 1999, and 2012. Today in the quiz.
You said 82, 1982?
I did say that.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, it's multiple choice.
Yeah.
What team became the first since 1961 to have 3 starters average more than 20 points a game for a season? Was it the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Celtics?
1982?
Yes, sir.
Read the question again.
What team became the first since 1961, which I think was the St. Louis Hawks? First since 1961 to have 3 starters average more than 20 points a game for a season.
Lakers, Celtics.
Nuggets, Celtics.
That is going to be
Those were the days.
Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets is correct.
Yeah.
Alex English, Dan Issel, and Kiki Vandeweghe.
Yes.
Vandeweghe. Drapes has a point, and you're up, Jay. 68, 76, 79, 99, 2012.
Let's go 1999.
1999.
Andrew Jones.
Who was the first pick this date, 1999, of the NFL draft?
Oh, my Lord.
Donovan McNabb,
Okay.
Achilles Smith, Tim Couch.
It wasn't Achilles because he was number 2 or 3.
First pick.
McNabb was 5, so it was Tim Couch.
Tim Couch is correct.
Yeah.
Damn, I
Tim
knew that
Couch
one
is
too.
correct.
You got that one, Jay. Nice work.
Way
Nice
to
work.
go.
big
1-1.
I was
Impressive
hoping
the way
he
he
got
worked
that
through
wrong.
that.
I know he did.
Yeah.
He did.
1-1 Drapes, your turn. 1968, 1976, 1979, and 2012.
2012.
2012 is the closest too.
Yeah, Jay can go first.
All right, Jay.
2012.
This date, 2012. Jamie Moyer
Okay. The
Mariners.
ageless one.
becomes the oldest pitcher to record a win
Oof.
in Colorado's 5-3 victory over the
Colorado
San
at that
Diego
time.
Padres. How old was he?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, Jay.
He was 45.
Jamie Moore, 45.
Oh, I thought I hit it.
That's a great guess, Jay.
Thought I hit
but it's wrong. 46.
He was 49, 150
Oh.
days. 49 years,
Yes.
150 days. How direct.
See,
That's
that's
the point.
You know that why that's a little funky is because Satchel Paige
That's true.
got a
That's
couple.
true.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
got
I
a
thought
couple
of that
wins,
as I
but
was
didn't know
reading
the
it.
age yet.
That's true. Draper with a point, 2-1. Jay, your turn. 68, 76, 79. Everybody's gotten everything right so far. Great match.
What was the first year?
1968,
68,
1976,
76.
1979.
Let's go 1979. Joe Morgan.
It's the closest to.
Let Drapes go.
All right, Drapes.
Let's
This
go.
date 1979. The A's beat the Mariners before a very sparse crowd.
Yesterday?
Of how many fans?
Wow.
Can I know where it was
That's
located?
what I was going to ask.
Yeah, it was in Oakland.
It was
A's
in
beat
Oakland?
The Mariners 6-5 before a very sparse crowd of how many fans?
1979?
Yeah.
Sparse
I
crowd.
think I remember watching this game on TV with my dad.
What's today? April 17th?
Yeah.
Sparse crowd in Oakland. I'm going to go with 1,000.
1,000.
Oh, it's more than that. 1,001.
1,001. A's beat the Mariners 6-5 before 650.
I told you, Jay. Right?
Come on.
Right? They were just drawing 3,000 last year.
I know, but I was like, I thought it was going to be like 2,200.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
And we've been talking about attendance over the last 20 years.
I was wondering, like, was it a snowstorm? But like some
that's
sort
what
of
I'm saying,
active
April.
weather
It
or
was terrible,
something?
and Charlie Finley was going to move the team, and fans were going to
Fans just
check
check
out.
huh? Damn.
Yeah, so it's 3-1 here. I think you're up, right?
Yeah,
Chris?
it is.
Yeah, 68 and 76 left.
76.
1976. Whose 4 home runs helped his team come from 11 runs down to beat the Cubs in 10 innings, 18-16? Was it Dave Kingman, George Foster, or Mike Schmidt?
And what year is this? 76?
1976.
Can you read it one more time?
Whose home runs, 4 home runs, so this date 76, helped his team come from 11 runs down to beat the Cubs in 10, 18-16? Dave Kingman, George Foster, Mike Schmidt.
You don't know this one.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
That's wrong.
For the walk-off.
It's the guy from Philly gets a Phillies question. Quiz.
Come on, Jay.
Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz.
I knew it was Mike.
Oh, man, that was good.
The A's question is horrendous.
Oh, I remember seeing
I should have
it on
said
NJ. It was
one.
like-
I started to say one, but I still would have been wrong.
You know, back then, fans would bring the dingers. They'd ring their bells, and it was like there's like 3 bells ringing. It was the weirdest thing.
That's crazy, man.
You saw that on TV?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Thanks for being with us. We're back with you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right?
Yes. Can't wait.
And stick around because golf to go. We're going to talk about the game of golf next on Sacktown Sports.